There we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our journey into our arduous journey. Please
Jew
pray
versus
for us
Jew.
as we
watch
movie
Bob debate
our...
Spoonie in front of Woody Harrelson.
Okay, so yes, all right, but what we really were watching yesterday, that it was a 2-hour long debate, and apparently, well, it's altogether 2 hours. Apparently, also the Q&A is interesting, which I often skip Q&As, but we want to watch the whole thing. Debate between Ben Burgis and Curtis Yarvin, aka Mencius Moldbug, who Spoon and I are both very big fans of.
Whoa.
I guess you could call it. So
it's okay. I'm a Spoonie fan too. I know what it's like to surf.
So Bill, who is joining us tonight, this is my my significant.
Hey, I'm here. It's the second stream of a week. That means I'm back to lower the tone.
Right, but
most welcome.
Bill has revealed a dastardly bit of information to us both, which is that Curtis Yarvin kind of just looks like Spoonie, and then it gets
Ichabod Crane
plus
Disney
Ichabod Crane. And then, of course, if you guys don't know who Spoonie is, from that guy with the glasses,
might be before your guys' time.
He mostly talks about like D&D and tabletop games.
The D&D stuff was later. He was like a...
Oh, right. At first he did, movie stuff too, or mostly. But Curtis Yarvin looks a lot like Spoonie, which raises questions because we are also joined as always by my co-host, Spoon. What did the universe mean by this? I'm not sure.
Irony is that Spoonie had a bigger nose.
Whereas I do not.
No, it's not about
more versus Mencius.
Yeah, I think he was versus Curtis. But
he also had a meme. I heard that, Curtis.
I've never looked at Curtis's nose. I've always been just distracted by his hair. It's a very Zeppelin thing going on.
Considering his ancestry.
Yeah. Oh my God. Again, it is a Jew-off.
Well, now what's protruding is his gut, because he's clearly stopped giving a shit, judging by his...
Oh, who's Spoonie?
Yeah.
Spoonie, well, he's been so depressed for so long.
I mean Mencius in this case. I was being
Mencius. No one calls him Mencius.
He's kind of slumped back in his coat.
You either call him Moldbug or Curtis Yarvin.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna oscillate wildly.
Just to be different. You're gonna call him Mencius.
I'm gonna call the other guy Movie Bob, because I can.
Okay. So yes,
as much as I did like the idea of calling him Bourgeois instead of Ben Bourgeois.
No, that one, by the way, excellent. I was asking what's a meme name we could give for Ben Burgis, and Ben Bourgeois, I guarantee, would make him seethe. So
Ben
perfect.
Bourgeois.
Ben
That's
Bourgeois.
really good.
Versus
really
Ichabod Crown.
Like Movie Bob. It's really bewildering. Like there can't be two of them. There isn't enough room in the world.
Hello, Scrix, and thank you for joining. Is Spoonie still even alive? Last I heard, he got a nipple infection in a car crash. I didn't know about either one of those.
I think he got banned from Twitter as well, didn't he?
Oh, he did get banned from Twitter because he was going off. He was saying crazy shit all over Twitter.
Maybe back. Yeah, he's back.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Well, we're seeing if some other people will be allowed to come back to
He
Twitter.
got a nipple infection and a car crash.
He's got health problems from ages. He's got like heart problems and shit. So he's
always been a little sickly.
I'm just saying, just the two things are so very unusual.
Yes, they're very unrelated.
They're very unrelated.
And a nipple infection.
The last thing he said was that he hasn't seen Deep Space Nine because he tried watching the first season and found it boring.
How is he watching Deep Space Nine?
He's a
boy.
Babylon 5 fan, for fuck's sake.
Oh, okay, right. Also, kids
Deep
are for
Space
£5.
Nine sounds like a porno in space.
What? He hasn't seen Deep Space Nine either. This is a travesty. Spoon, have you seen any Star Trek?
You like Quark?
Do you know what I watch?
No. Oh, sport.
Yes.
Yeah. Hand egg. Not. Well, no. Not hand egg. Not Divegrass. You watch Divegrass, don't you? But mostly like what's the name for rugby? Well, I can't remember. Oh, Bill, do you remember the name for rugby? Usually I should know these. Divegrass.
Rugby.
What the meme name for rugby is?
I know what it is.
Field fight.
It's far too dignified.
Oh, here it is.
Blood Bowl.
Oh, what was rugby?
I don't know what rugby's called over here. It's considered a homosexual martial art.
Yeah, let's see. Hockey is ice fight. Baseball is luck swing. American football is hand egg. European football is dive grass.
Yeah, someone in the chat said it.
I can't. Oh, where was it? It was a man grab. It was man grab. Thank you. It was man grab. So yes, Spoon enjoys his man grab.
There's one for the fucking t-shirts.
Yeah.
Dude loves man grab.
But
I must be one of the few people I know that is somewhat intellectually engaged in like sports. Because everyone else I know seems
true.
like I mean, Ben Shapiro likes baseball, but that's not a sport.
I like baseball.
Fuck you, Rocky's better.
It's the only sport I do like.
My half-sister's side of the family is a member of the Japanese national rugby team.
Oh, right. Yeah. Kiza for £5 says that the Supreme Emperor has blessed the stream. Thank you, Kiza. Also, I gladly chat with Moldbug to explain why I should be the Supreme Emperor of the Anglosphere. We'll see if we can get Moldbug on sometime. He goes on like anybody's show if they ask him, but I have a little bit of anxiety about asking him because I'm a nerd.
I saw him.
D&D game.
I saw him on a stream like earlier today. This stream had 800 subs.
Mm-hmm.
So he will literally just talk to anyone, which makes me think he's
was it on Break the... You said it was Break the Rules, wasn't it?
No. Break the Rules was like 10,000 subs.
I was going to say, I've been
this
on
was
Break the Rules.
800. This was like nothing.
I'll be honored if he was on my D&D stream. I'm a big fan of Count Monkey.
Right. See if you can get Spoony or Ichabod crown on.
If I could just have Mencius Moldbug on my stream and keep referring to him like he's Spoony and never address it. See how far we can get before he gets really upset.
Do you think there is any possibility in this universe that Curtis Yarvin has not played D&D before? Because I think that is
no, because he played GURPS.
Oh, it was only okay.
He played GURPS or Rifts or Traveller.
Some tabletop RPG stupid. Of some sort. There is absolutely no way. I refuse.
Oh no, you know what? It'd be Adventurer Conqueror King.
Something. There is no way. There is no way.
What are you basing this on?
Vibe.
Having listened to what he says about everything.
What do you think he's going to play? Is he going to play D&D, which is ostensibly...
No, he's. I'm just saying, he has played some tabletop RPG. Yeah, he's played without doubt. No way that's not true.
Most likely, or at the very least, he's a fiend at Civ or Hoy.
I mean, did you...
Hoy 4's a given.
Did you read his article about Lord of the Rings, Spoon?
Yes, I did.
Right, I agreed. I liked that article. I know. Oh, right, duh.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't remember if you sent it to me, because actually a couple people sent it to me. But,
anyway. What about Styx?
What about Styx?
Do you think he has?
Oh, yeah.
He never has.
Yeah, are you joking? No way.
Yeah, he actually said that, because he said it on a stream.
He's never played D&D.
Yes, he said that despite his appearance, he's never actually played in tabletop games.
Well, he just, I don't know.
I would have thought that.
Razorfist definitely has.
Yeah, because he's a Battletech fiend.
Yeah, Razorfist definitely has. But I'm just saying, be careful with the appearances, because Styx is like the last person you think would never have, and you just look at him like, no? Oh, wow.
Not judging people by their appearance. We haven't done that at all tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what we do.
Curtis here looks like he's trying to burn a hole through someone. Just.
Yeah, he.
That's the stare of someone who's dying inside.
Though, to be fair, he always kind of looks like that, but in particular in this debate disaster.
To be fair, if I was in the shrapnel zone of that bloke next to him's like
right,
he's sitting on, that thing looks like it's about to explode into a cloud of fine shrapnel.
Yeah, Bill didn't see part one. Again, I knew it was going to take probably more than one screen to get through this.
Every single thing we do here, but completely blind.
So again, we're starting out an hour and 17 minutes in. There's an hour left of it, which a good portion I imagine is Q&A. But Spoon says the Q&A is highly entertaining, so we will be doing that.
Well, I mean, I like.
But if you want to watch the first part, we streamed it yesterday. So because it. Speaking of a dumpster fire, though, the person I was just on stream with was Artemisia, who I will link the stream actually here that I was just on with him because we were discussing the dumpster fire / disaster of the quote unquote debate between Adam Sitch, Kurt Metzger, Dave Smith, and Jimmy Dore that happened the other day. Because it was such a disaster that Sitch changed the title of the stream from a discussion with to a disaster with. We were discussing, and truly was a disaster in my opinion. It got pretty heated and not great. Which would make it. What are we at now?
Those do piss me off.
Third stream that they've done with other people about Ukraine that hasn't
panned out well.
Not gone great. I'll put it that way, because I think ours was at least amicable. I don't think it ended that way with Sargon. I think Sargon kind of
BTF
and particularly Louis.
I guess it is hard to be like where you just had your asshole pulled out live on stream in front of your entire audience.
Yeah, because
no, that the stream with Kurt and Dor and Dave Smith from the other day, it was just look. One of the things I said earlier to Artemisia is you just shouldn't, which we ended up doing too, which was probably a problem because who ended up joining in like halfway through to be the third person. You should not have a stream with 5 people debating ever. Not a good idea.
Probably
just not.
Dev.
Oh, Dev came in, right? Yeah. Actually, I think Dev was a good addition because he actually did end up being more of a moderator in ours,
which is a warning sign in and of itself, if that's the case.
Canadian middleman.
Well, I've seen Vermintide 2 achievements that had less bewildering requirements than Dev coming in as the mediator.
No, Dev was very reasonable.
That's a
I
trick
think.
Shot.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't in that debate. That was in our monarchy debate that Dev came in on. That wasn't in the Ukraine one.
I don't think anybody else came into our debate.
No, that's why I was. No, I think in the Ukraine debate it was just the four of us.
We lose it. A $2 Canadian from Ardent Party. Greetings from the Newfoundland Embassy in exile.
Oh, hello!
Shout outs to the Guernseys. The Guernsey folk did found your settlement.
Yeah.
We apologise.
Guernsey. I think a lot of people in Newfoundland are from Guernsey originally, or of Guernsey stock.
No, the reason
that's where the fish cult comes from.
Right.
The reason I'm annoyed is because I got woke up at 5:30 this morning with one of their fucking videos.
By whose video?
Adam and Sidge's video.
Oh, it just came on?
Yeah, where they were discussing some trans thing with Megyn Kelly and some fucking bint.
That you showed me this morning.
Yes, the math thing. And I'm like 5:30 in the morning, I'm barely listening, and as soon as I said the percentages, I'm like wide awake. I'm like, what the fuck?
Would you mind terribly if we watched like 3 minutes of that? Because I just want to make a joke about women being unable to do math.
My video or that one?
No, I haven't actually got a chance to watch your video because I was getting my
video.
Hair
I just get fucking annoyed because oh my god.
When you sent it to me, I was getting my hair did. So at the time, I couldn't really sit there at the hair salon and turn the sound up on my phone to play your video. Sorry, but it was basically like,
she
hey, look,
denied you new viewership.
I did, but it was basically just, hey, here's 4 people who are unable to do math.
Yeah, that's why it was just fucking.
Hey, you're in a room full of hairstylists. They might have actually been able to relate.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's watch this for a minute. Let's just watch this for a minute because again, I love Adam and such. I really do. Despite the fact that Adam has made me cry on 2 occasions, actually maybe 3.
That's because you are far too forgiving.
As many as I have.
That's a me problem, right? I actually, Artemisia brought something up as he said that there was one point during the debate with Jimmy and Kurt and Dave Smith where it sounded like Sitch was going to cry. And I was like, I didn't catch that, but I don't know if that's true or not. But that debate was, again, it was a disaster for a reason. And I do think maybe they collectively might have hurt Sitch's feelings, which is really fucking lame. And
before we continue, can we just take a moment to appreciate that despite the fact that Sitch's background looks like something AI generated.
Oh, I love his
I love cards.
Dude, I love the animation he uses as his background.
Adam's background, which is his actual office, looks more like a Hieronymus Bosch painting.
But that's it. That's his art.
Yeah, like, but the way the room is composed makes it look like it's like something out of a Hieronymus Bosch. Like it's just how that's just how it is in
exactly
California.
Like what Sitch's stuff is. I love the background Sitch uses. I think it's really dope. But I don't know what would inspire. Like we've said a whole bunch of dumb shit on our streams, and I've said a lot of dumb shit on many people's streams. But on my stream, if I said a bunch of dumb shit, I wouldn't then clip it out and make it its own video.
Yeah,
Again,
'cause this was really embarrassing.
Sincerely, best love, but I would never, most love to these guys. I do mean that. I really do like Adam and Seth. But
The more
I
that you
don't
say
know.
that, the more disingenuous it becomes.
Oh, I know, but I
No,
don't.
she is genuine. I, on the other hand, will
Yeah,
will call a
Bill
spade a
knows
shovel.
I'm genuine. I really don't like to have. I like to be friends with
My
everybody,
viewership is
but
low. I can afford to start beef. Fuck you, Adam.
yeah, Bill. Whatever. But I know I need to stop saying it.
Fuckers
It's
and
only
nerds.
because if I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit, if I'm gonna playfully make fun of you, because when I did this with Dev, then now that's why Dev won't talk to me or whatever, and he's all mad at me. And look, I'm allowed to say that now because Dev has talked about it publicly, so I'm going to talk about it publicly. I have nothing against Dev. I talked to Uzulu, and I said I couldn't understand why Dev was being silly.
Not
I might have
posting DMs.
called him
now you
retarded,
brought
but
one into the chat.
I might have said I couldn't understand why Dev was being retarded. I don't think I said
Aiden,
that.
you need to get off the fence. You're gonna get splinters in your ass.
Yeah.
No,
I
because
know you're going to be on Tim's show soon, but
yeah, tomorrow. And look, no. I don't like to have beef with anybody. I like to be nice to everyone and get along with people.
But
so
it's better to have beef than to be porked.
True.
Oh, that's very good.
That's
Or to play
Yeah,
chicken,
that's-
for that matter.
This
Golf clap.
well done. That's
Butchery,
just
Very good.
What's the next word?
very good.
that's why I love you, Bill. But yeah, I just if I'm gonna say gently make fun of you, or just
It's
make
better
fun of
to
you,
grill someone else and to be fried.
I'd rather just say there is no personal animus, at least from me, towards Dev or
there is in
Adam
my
or
video,
Seth.
by the way. You offended my Asian side.
What?
There is mine because I was legitimately pissed.
Oh,
in
I'm
my
sure.
video.
I know. I'm sure you were aggressive because you always are. But let's just
Fuck
let's
you.
play this for a minute. Yeah.
never
Case in
met a
point,
nice
right?
South
Case in point. And that's not bloody surprising.
don't
then, 'cause
start, we'll
a
get
bunch of
demonetized.
ignorant loudmouths with no sense of humor.
Yeah, but again, we're listening to a Yank, so it doesn't really matter.
True. All right, okay. Let's just play this for a minute because I don't. Why did you clip this? I can't remember who does the clipping of it, it's Adam or Sitch, but like, why would you?
It's not
clip
that
this
it's someone on the.
No, just watch it, guys. Let's just watch it so you can understand why I'm confused by why it was cut out and clipped. Right?
So let's see what she has to say about this.
What does that really mean? So in the United Kingdom, they saw a 45,000% increase in girls
35,000
attending the gender identity development services. 4,300, so 4,000.
35,000, 4,300.
4,500% increase. And
35,000, 4,300, 45,000, 4,500.
Do you want to pause maybe and not talk over them because they're already
No, because
annoying enough as it is?
No, because I want you to understand she's given out 3 totally different numbers right now.
Yes.
Continue.
45,000, 4,300, and then
45.
4,500.
45. Okay.
Huge. And
just to do the math on that, to keep it simple. So whereas there might have been one girl coming in 10 years ago saying, I think I might be, I'm gender dysphoric, just to really dumb it down.
I'm going to say something controversial. That's not a real thing.
What do you mean?
Gender
gender
dysphoria is not a real thing. That is a leftist. That is a leftist gimmick.
No. It is. They used to do
No,
fMRI studies.
I refuse to believe this.
Listen to me.
No, it's
for a
a
moment. I have
creepy.
data on it.
Get on with it!
I have the high ground. No, look, they used to do fMRI. They used to do fMRI studies on people who were transgender and they or identified as transgender, and they found that people who had been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, some of them really did have this brain structure issue where there was activation going on in centers of the brain in response to stimuli that was more similar to that of the opposite sex than it was of their own sex. So there's a structural brain issue that causes people to feel like they're more like the other sex. There is structural brain or at least brain chemical problems that absolutely create this issue.
Yeah,
but we've decided
you don't know that
No.
the solution to this is a gender reassignment.
No, it's not. What I've always said about it is that I
Cool,
think
what
probably
we
the answer is to give them some kind of pill if it is a chemical issue that resolves because otherwise it's brain surgery.
How
But
about
you
just a
think that
fist up their ass?
you think the medical industrial complex would love
I
that
don't
too,
think it's
because
gonna
either
help
way they're going to
matters,
make
though. I
money.
think it's going to make it worse.
Well, the difference is that if you could give them a pill that would fix the chemical issue that is causing, let's say, genetically inappropriate response to stimuli that's activating regions of the brain that are making them feel dysphoric, you give them a pill. Well, the pill is going to cost what, like, $50 a month,
$5,000.
maybe 500, maybe at most. It's not going to cost $50,000 to $100,000 and then require lifelong palliative care. So the medical industrial complex, just for the same reason that they're not interested in curing or even really researching cures for AIDS, has no reason to be interested in trying to find a cure for the chemical structural issue that is causing gender dysphoria. And we can't even call it gender dysphoria
housewives and learn to take dick.
Well, they can't
solves a
research
lot of
any of it
problems.
anymore. Can't research any of it anymore because
Science
now
has settled all that shit.
no, it's not even science settled. But
It's easier to
yeah,
sell a service that could be performed with by a half-blind butcher with a meat mallet than
Yeah.
to actually invest in actual.
Well, no, they don't want to cure it. They don't actually want to make these people feel better.
They
don't
don't want to treat it properly.
No,
They
now
like-
they've removed it from the DSM. Gender dysphoria doesn't exist anymore. It's now just you're just go, give us $100,000 so we can cut your genitals off.
now
and give you a
dysphoria
lifetime
only truly
care.
exists on Fit.
Oh, man. Oh, speaking of which, sorry, this is a bit of an aside, but since I'm on it, did you see that California has a new welfare scheme where
Oh God, yes, I did.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh,
I don't know if I can I have it on Twitter, but just to tell you guys what it is. Oh no, I don't want to keep sending you things to bring up because we were just gonna watch the debate, but
We've
Where-
spiraled so heavily. by
this
now.
is whatever. It is what it is. Where California's new welfare scheme is that if you identify as one of their it's hundreds, I think. There's something like maybe not hundreds, but it's like over 80. I have it in my likes here.
Is that one? The one that's got 93 entries, and
It's
one
something
of them
like
is
that,
words
yeah.
I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, or we get demonetized.
Right. Where there's all these fucking things you can identify as, and did I not like it? Am I that
And
stupid?
some are just straight up slurs. That's literally one of them.
No, it's one of them. Spoon, that's one of them.
They've
No
reclaimed it
joke.
now. Now we can say it.
It is one of the 80
Hang
Is
on,
the
I've got
F
it
word?
here.
yes, one of the genders you can identify as, or it's either the genders or the sexualities. I don't know.
Wait, if I
Is the F
call
word.
somebody that, does
Yeah.
that mean they can identify that and therefore the
I
state
don't
pays
know.
them?
Yes.
I don't know. But then it's that they should, if you earn less than $600 a month, you can apply if you identify as any of these 80 different things and receive $1,200 a month in money from the state.
That's insane.
Yeah, I can't put it on Twitter now, so.
I've got it.
Oh, okay, cool. it's hilarious. And yes, again, are we allowed to say that word? Yeah, thank you, Bill. Yeah, here we go. Matt Walsh, of course, had it. So, application for transgender San Francisco. Oh, it's not all of California. It's just San.
You
it's
can
just San Francisco.
identify as a Dutch formation of sandbar traps.
Well, I
So as
have
to
one
build up
that
the-
one that
so as to
interested
build
me.
up land.
A bunch of them are weird, but yeah, I'm interested in Brother Boy. Is that like a Mother
Fuck is
Boy?
that?
I don't know what
I
is
don't
Brother
know what
Boy.
that one
What
is.
is Brother Boy? Here we go. Here's the list. Your gender identity is man, woman, trans, blah, the normal ones, and then you get into the
Stud is one of them. That's
yes, stud is one. Stud is one. Man of trans experience, man with a history of gender transition.
is it ex-gender or
trans masculine.
cross-gender? FTX is one of them.
Yes, FTX, which is, if you don't know, the name of the cryptocurrency scam that just went tits up.
Woman of trans experience. Woman with a history of
Gender
gender transition.
outlaw, gender variant, gender fuck.
You remember in 3.5 D&D where the
New
prestige classes
choice.
got out of hand?
That's with gray gender, pan
Look at these.
gender.
Look at these. I would say I would make a crack about all of these requiring iron will for some reason, but it's
Oh
clear
my
that no
God,
one involved
dude.
has any of it.
Okay, this is a real thing, by the way. But then you get into so just to reiterate, I don't know if you have it up on the screen or not.
Oh, there's
Because
also
I
like,
want to
the
show you my
weirdo
favorite
shit.
one. I would like for you, if you would mind bringing it up. You don't have to. That FTX, again, the cryptocurrency thing that just like went bankrupt, is one of them.
Then it goes into like I assume that some of the
Hedra. Some of these are words in other languages, right?
Yeah, some of these I assume
which is like
are related to a regional,
right? Some
say
regional
Native
thing.
American, or perhaps
no, that's three spirit, but or whatever. Waria, which I assume is transgender Wario. Palauana.
Ash time. I had no idea.
But
okay, first you were a religion,
really
now
look
a
at the
race,
last
now
one.
you're a gender. Ash time. Calm down.
You really gotta look at the last one on the list on the right hand side. It's travesty. It's literally
El exterminador de la luz.
It's literally travesty. It's
L'abominaciones del Americanas.
L'abomination. Bruh, I identify as a travesty. That hits way too close to home.
Like 93 entries and one's just boy.
Listen here, boy. That's how I
prefer
it.
No, B-O-I, boy, with the hand gesture.
Boy.
That I can respect. If boy was one of the... I'd go with that.
Oh my god.
Masculine of center is... Are Adam and Sitch writing these now?
I just can't...
I remind you that the people behind that state, of that city, San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi, elected Jim Jones of the Jonestown cult illegally as the minister of fucking housing, and directly led to the foundation of the Jonestown cult.
Overrun by
Guyana
people. But at least I can identify as a travesty.
Okay, question. Is X-gender or is it cross-gender? Is it like Kamen Rider Z-Cross?
What the hell is gender fuck?
That one's been around. Like, that one's actually been around for a while.
That one's like... that's just like the punks like side of things bullshit.
Neutrons?
Neutron.
Brain blast,
boy. It's neutron.
Tomboy is an option.
Yeah, tomboy. I thought tomboys weren't real or something.
Can we search by this function?
Bush stud.
This seems like a fucking. This seems like some. This sounds like someone at Leon Martin Community Health is out there cruising for puss, and they're just.
What the fuck is a gender outlaw? Because for 5 pences, Waria would be either the most based capitalist tomboy ever, or your typical corporate 50-stone feminist yeast-infected thing ever. What do you all think? I think Waria, if it's just Wario but female.
Mario says Black Lives Matter. Wario says.
And then we had to cut the connection there. He was about to say something too spicy for television.
Also, Calabai sounds very close to Caliban, and I'm not
sure.
I
originally read that one as Cabal, and I was like, oh shit! At least Uzuli's got a place here on the list. I identify
He's
as
already
Cabal.
got the tomboy option. What more does he want?
Winked.
You realize, like, anyone basically... You realize this is just a way to introduce UBI?
Yeah, but this is... I mean,
more importantly, this is a way to introduce social credit.
Oh my god. I have to tell you that when I looked at this on Twitter, in response to this is the Live to TikTok one, I think it was on this thread, someone said, wow, what's wrong with you? Laughing at people for just living their lives. They're not bothering anyone. Literally, you are. Because
didn't Dank get in shit for calling out this exact kind of thing with like the vapo gender bullshit?
Yeah, but it always gets worse. You know, society is degenerating, so it always gets worse. Oh, I'm sorry. Travesty really killed me.
I'm sorry, until I can identify as Brother Man Bill on my fucking
Brother Man
driver's license, I apparently am oppressed. Who knew?
You're not Brother Man, Brother Boy.
Why aren't I allowed to be Brother Man Bill? Why allowed to be Brother Boy Bill? That's diminutive. That's racist.
Can you be Mother Boy?
That's gay.
If you mean Brother Boy, it's a reference to Arrested Development.
Mother Boy does not leftist, do you agree?
Mother Boy.
Well, yeah. Here's a fucking reference to Arrested Development for this fucking list. The boy is wrong. He was built incorrect.
My son, he is sick. I'm sorry. I've been broken.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading that.
How is it someone on my Steam listing is playing Disgaea 6 and they're not the person doing the most degenerate shit this evening?
I've already been broke.
Enough
And we haven't even gotten to
dawdling
the
and
women
spiraling
math.
off on tangents.
Let's
We need to get back to the matter
minute.
at hand.
We have to get back to women math, and then get back to the Jew wall.
Jesus Christ! It's like a
the Jew
fucking.
fight.
This is like a Fallout 3 quest line. Not even New Vegas, like one of the good ones, like one of the bad ones.
Yeah, you can identify as a stud muffin, apparently, Riley Robo, and then the San Francisco city government will have to pay you $1,200 a month.
Well, that to mean the taxpayer.
Yes, but who are not bothering anybody, according to
Except the people who get pay for this shit.
Well, no, see, they think money, just comes from the sky. Electricity comes from the walls, or excuse me, money comes by the mail. Electricity comes from the walls. Food comes from the store.
Votes come from the dead, and votes come from the dead.
Right, of course. Let's play this. Because also to make me laugh, I'm gonna have to smoke a bit more of my cigarette in a minute. Not yet, but oh my god, we're already in the period where I'm
and is smoking tobacco.
I smoked tobacco over there in the UK.
That's my joke. Why are you smoking tobacco if you're in a state where it's legal?
It's not actually legal here. Marijuana. Also, I'm already laughing like a mad person because this is so fucking ridiculous. What do you think it'd be like if I was high? Oh my god. Get on with it. Okay, let's watch this.
I'm not confused about my gender or may identify with the opposite gender. Now there's 4,500 girls coming in 10 years
35,
later.
43, or 45.
Well, 45,000
right?
increasing
45.
includes right. So so the increase is
the fact that none of you stupid bitches can do 4,500% of one tells me that no one should ever listen to you with regards to stats, fucking ever, because you're both absolute retards.
To be fair, whoever the woman on the left,
Megan,
her organization chose someone with that phenotype to argue this point.
I don't know.
Set Paul on fire.
She's some kind of doctor. She's some kind of professor. And then the woman on the right, of course, is Megan Kelly.
Fucking math.
But no, it's like, but she has a doctorate, Bill. The woman on the left is a doctorate.
This screenshot looks like a piece of 1940s German propaganda.
Bruh. I don't know what he meant by this. Bill.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to, this seems like they chose someone specifically to inflame the fucking poll tards.
Oh, what? Just because she just.
They know that they can send out someone with a sizable nose, and it'll stir up all the mongs on poll.
Okay, well, listen, Megan Kelly, the blonde Aryan woman on the right, is even worse. So I mean, let's not with the math. I think
Aryan, those roots, fam.
Whatever. Okay, oh my god. Wow. This is what happens when we bring Bill.
Well, it's fun.
I love
I tried to drill down because it's hard to kind of, what is this?
Someone needs to drill you. Maybe that can fucking fuck some sense into you.
So that's a 60% increase per year, over this 8 years.
Wait. Okay, just to be clear, we now have 3,400%, 4,300, 45, and now 60%. Just letting you guys know the numbers, to remind you of the numbers she's thrown out here in the last minute. Women.
It's like asking Han what his bonus to attack is in any given round.
I've got the giggles tonight, guys. Sorry. But oh my god, how? 3,400, 4,300.
I'm hearing a lot of shit from someone who still can't figure out their DC for their aura of peace.
Don't talk to me about my inability to understand my character sheet, Bill.
Hold on, it's gonna get worse.
Period.
Math is so confusing.
The numbers
hurts my head. They've gone way up. Let's go with that.
It has gone way up, and so
way up.
It hurts your head to do 1 times 45.
Well, okay, if it's an increase of 4,500%, which is what they're going to run with, then it would actually be 46. One 10 years ago would be 46. If they increased by 4,500%, it would be 46.
That's the additional one, yes.
Yes, but
I did say
this is also the whole thing is convoluted here I'm not even sure. I have no idea what the fuck she found because it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I should probably stress we shouldn't completely invalidate and just do a weird Cliff Notes version of Spoon's video, but wanted to get him some actual views.
Oh yeah, go watch Spoon's video. I just wanted to play.
Go watch Spoon's video. He'll put it forward without an enormous amount of autism.
Well, true. It's also just really funny because again, which is why I don't understand why they clipped whether Adam clipped this because then they also don't understand the numbers. Which okay, again, let's be charitable. She clearly doesn't. So I understand why it's difficult for anyone to follow the nonsense.
No, that makes it worse.
I guess so. I don't know. It should be if it was 10 years ago. It was one woman coming in.
If none of you jackasses can instantly go, "What the fuck? This is wrong," within 5 seconds, it means you're complicit in the stupidity and you are worse.
Oh my god!
What was that Orson Welles documentary about how most experts are complete charlatans?
Champagne.
For God's sake, they're 2 women. And you're 2 men, and you can't call it out. That makes you worse.
Women, math.
To be fair, one of them was from California. He's not even like 3/5 of a person.
Well, I think Adam actually is dyscalculated. He's an artist, so he has like a whole ton of excuses. California artist, you know.
Yeah. He also is a fan of MMT, so clearly he doesn't understand numbers. That was a comment in the box, by the way. I love my ass off. That was a fucking good comment. It's something like never. It was something like never listen to someone who likes MMT when it comes to numbers. That's pretty good.
Again, I don't know why they clipped this, and again, I love Adam and such. I don't know why they would clip this out. It's all bad luck.
Go out, look up the documentary by Orson Welles. The very last thing he made called F for Fake. It is an indictment of these fake fucking experts who get trotted out in front of these fucking what would you even call it, a parlor of charlatans?
Yeah.
To parrot bullshit for the establishment.
It's
a documentary about people who forge art.
Oh, okay.
Artists themselves. So it's also pertinent because, of course, Adam's here to contribute nothing and steal oxygen.
Basically, you just described The View.
Don't be rude. Yeah, you described The View. Yeah. Let's just play this for another minute.
Sitch is black.
Oh, that is true. He is a person. He does the shadow.
Yeah, but he's not the most famous one anymore, is he?
It's just because of stigma. And when you see numbers like that, you know, there's a responsibility to dig a little deeper than just saying, here's one explanation. Let's.
Bitch, when you just tell me the percentage without the raw number, I don't know what the increase is. It could be 1, and then it's only 45, and it's not so scary.
Well, I don't know if you're wrong. You gave 4 different numbers, so I have no percentages. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
I did say I think she's bullshitting about the numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is about something that's actually really important about the number of transgender people identifying as transgender, particularly girls.
Put them into a cannon and fire them in
which has gone up exponentially. It has gone up exponentially. But you need to know the goddamn number if you're going to go on national television and spout it off. Who knows? I have no clue. I mean, I think I could go find it. I don't have it.
This woman has a bunch of fucking random numbers that she spews out, and she gets a fucking free pass. JonTron goes on stream and has all the numbers he needs, and he gets in trouble.
Right. Kizza for £5 says, I love how this stream has gotten massively sidetracked. Also, you miss my 2 super chats because Waria won. They're both great. Let me find it here. I don't know how
I'm trying my best, Kizza.
No, that's the last one. The last one I got from you, Kizza, here in my activity is Waria could either be the most capitalist convoy, and then the one you just sent. I don't know. Those are the only ones that have shown up that are in either my back end of the stream or that I see in the chat. Sorry about that. But let's continue with this. You have to send another one, Kizza. You can send it to me in private, and I'll read it off what you wanted to say. Sorry,
it says, Aiden, I doubt this has nothing to do with the drastic drop in testosterone with young men that are causing this phenomenon. Yeah, that probably is.
Why can't I see it in the back end?
So I've just spotted Adam's fucking subtitle: comedy show host, immune system for society.
Oh, I know.
What does that mean?
You look like you have jaundice, fam.
It's just the lighting.
I hope so, because otherwise that man's liver's on its way out.
No,
I'm wearing a Nightmare Before Christmas t-shirt. It might as well be free fucking Wolf Moon.
Okay, I'm 99% sure that the immune system for society thing is ironic. Okay,
I hope so.
pretty sure it's ironic.
Let's just stop there and stop looking. And so some people, I think, can
looks
dig in
Chester
their
Bennington
heels
playing
and say,
Victor Toombs.
Does that mean that he takes punches for everybody else?
I don't know. I just
Because
want to get through this.
That's kind of what I mean by immune system for society. That's kind of what that means.
Let's just get through this real quick because I just think that this. I hope that I actually it probably is true. Maybe Sitch clip this out because it's just funny that like nobody understands basic math here.
Hey, nope, it's just because of this. And if you look at other things that you might consider where stigma has decreased and you've seen things increase, we'll talk about left-handedness.
Yeah, it's funny that it only happens in left-wing areas, and the rest of the world not at all. It's almost like you put this idea into the fucking heads.
Again, the argument is that it's because it's destigmatized in California. That's why the percentages are up to whatever degree that they're up.
No one believes
Didn't
that.
California have a major like Islamic cult infestation in the southern deserts?
Spoon, can you see the other thing that Keza sent? Because I can't see. I didn't see the message that you read off there either. So I don't know what's going on, and they're not.
Who here wants to see me and Spoon as a tag team against Adam and Sitch? 1 for yes, 2 for no in the chat, everyone.
Oh, okay.
There's the other one.
I mean, like, I don't know if they'd want to do that, but I mean, on what topic you'd have to guess, or you have to decide. But
yeah, I can't be on a stream with Adam because he is way too immature and he can't not lose his shit.
Mm.
He gets too angry.
5 seconds for him to just.
Yeah, as Arden has just said, that left-handedness has increased because teachers stopped slapping. Literally, when my dad was a kid, my dad is left-handed, and when he was a kid, teachers used to smack him with a ruler on his hand to make him use his right hand. He's still left-handed, but that was around the time when it stopped. It was in the 60s.
Oh my goodness, this thing that the adults can't even understand, that the children can somehow understand, is totally organic. Yeah, that makes perfect. I just debunked this entire shit in one sentence.
Oh, let's continue.
So many know it was strongly discouraged for kids to write with their left hand.
Good.
And when people got over that,
my dad's
and
left-handed,
neutral,
Bill.
the numbers went up.
So
and those
mine,
numbers
actually.
went up from 3% to 11%. And so that's a number of, let's say, 266%, but it was over 50 years. So it went up much less, and it was over 50 years.
So that one you get right.
So I tried to do some calculations, and I don't know if this is going to like bore people or not, but just to try and say it in the same language. Because if we're talking about 50 years, or we're talking about like 8 years, so for the girls attending the clinic, that was 60% increase per year, and for left-handedness, it was 3% per year.
Again, that's right. That's 60%.
So
where did the 4,500 go?
Those were really those were big changes that people were seeing, and they were seeing also this because there were so many teen girls. It shifted to a population that was mostly boys to one that was mostly girls.
Yeah, let me ask you about that.
So,
dude, this clip is so retarded.
Left-handed
the clip that they're watching, holy shit.
That people keep bringing up actually disproves their point. It doesn't prove it. It disproves their point. Okay. Because it took 50 years for the number to raise 10 points. And as she said, it basically rose at 3%
200%.
every year for 50 years. And yet
No. And then Sitch is misunderstood. And I don't understand. I understand why he's misunderstood, because the shit she said was incomprehensible. She was saying it had risen 60% per year in the last 8 years. Left-handedness has risen 200% in 50 years. Now her numbers are all fucked, but that's her ultimate claim when she eventually ends up with a 60% per year number. I don't know how she gets to the 4,500 one. That one doesn't make any sense. But it's 60% per year transgender in 8 years per year, which doesn't get you to 4,500%, but okay. Or it's 200% in 50 years for left-handedness. That her point is horribly made, but if that is
anyway, it's a moot point.
If that is accurate, though, these are not. It doesn't disprove their point in any way. It's still 200% over 50 years versus 60% per year in 8 years. And I don't know, but that 4,500 shit doesn't make any sense to me because she has no idea what that number is.
Numbers mean
She said
nothing.
60% twice. It's the only number she said twice for the transgender stuff.
The numbers will mean nothing anyway, so it's all.
Wait, because I don't trust anything this woman says because she's.
Should you?
No, because she's. I don't know. That would have been my approach or my response to this video is she has no clue what the fuck she's saying, but because she clearly doesn't. But I will. But if it were true, then the only number she said twice is 60% over 8 years per year. 60% per year over 8 years versus 200% over 50 years for left-handedness. That is a major increase in transgenderism, if that were true, comparative to left-handedness over a very significant difference in time elapsed, right?
The rate of people identifying as trans is risen by 60% every year to a total of 4,500% increase.
Right.
Okay.
Which
Between
Megan
4,000
Kelly did have the
minus
math right. If it was one person at the beginning of the 8-year period, it's 4,500 people at the end.
No. It's 46.
And so just try to imagine. So we have a 4,500% increase, and this isn't over 50 years. This is over like
8
3
years.
or 4 or 5 years, right? Or would she say 8 years?
She said 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah, over 8 years. 8 years to 50. Okay. It's just this. So that example, the left hand is actually disproves her point. Because you say, well, wait a minute.
It doesn't.
Something
But
like
you have to try to and break down
there was
her
a social
nonsense.
stigma against it, and when the social stigma went away, it took 50 fucking years for that number to spike as much as it did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for left-handedness. Something that basically requires you to do nothing to change it, right? You don't have to take drugs. You don't have to get surgery. All you have to do is just do literally the thing that comes natural to you.
Right.
And that took 50 fucking years to go up 200%. And yet this is going up 4,500% over 8 years for something that requires drugs and surgery?
My question is, could we get left-handedness up to 4,500% if we just glorified people who were left-handed?
Maybe you could.
That's
exactly.
What
Maybe you could. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be remotely shocked.
We need to go back to believing that left-handed people are stigmatized by society.
Mm-hmm.
That they're
We
victims.
should start stigmatizing left-handed people. I'll help Matt. Who's with me? Oh, my mind is connected. Technical issues.
Yo.
Technical issues.
Why can I hear Aiden?
Yo. She's been booted out by Discord. Left-handed people are onto us.
What the
I was
hell?
wondering what was going on.
Yeah. I was like, why can I not hear Aiden? Aiden, what did you do?
Apparently, a discourse shut the bed.
I'm trying to
What's our
reconnect.
region set to?
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Region's automatic. Should we set to Brazil? That's usually the go-to fix.
Oh, hell, I don't know how to friggin' do that. Oh, region, let's see. I don't know if that's gonna friggin' do anything.
Should do. Usually does.
It's because Bolsonaro was in charge.
Well, he's not anymore, unfortunately. They're in the middle of a civil war.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm still connected to YouTube. Everyone in the chat can hear us. Apparently, we're to be challenged to a game or off. Or we say gamer words.
Well,
This could get ugly really quickly.
this is gonna be real ugly.
Yeah. Spoo said too many gamer words. What the hell? No, I haven't said any. Piss off. Well, not yet anyway. Aiden, what are you doing? What do you mean Discord? Does Discord not connect in general?
Typical Welsh behaviour.
Well, I mean, I can't say that the chat will be demonetized. Or the stream, sorry.
Yeah. It's okay, we'll have a Rumble stream.
Yeah. All I can hear is that elevator pitch music in my ear, just like dun 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 dun. Well, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Oh, I think I was reconnected there. A second.
Yeah. Well, now there's at least a red
Aiden,
thing.
you're currently muted.
This is very professional.
Oh, fuck, okay. All right,
There
hey,
we
we're
go.
back. All right. Oh, finally, we found...
Bring back the D&D campaign.
we finally found a route. I don't know what happened.
We finally found out the thing that would get us taken off the air.
Yeah, apparently making fun of
Shit-talking
women.
left-handed people.
Apparently, yeah, shit-talking left-handed people and women for being bad at math.
People real fucking loose.
People. My dad is left-handed.
Yeah, so was mine,
Okay.
actually.
If God had intended left-handed people
Spoon,
to
I'm getting
exist, he
really
wouldn't have
actually
invented the
starting.
shield
I'm
wall.
starting to get really fucking worried about the parallels between your life and mine. It's starting to get a little creepy, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm getting disturbed. As I talked about, like we both. It's just
or is it the flip as well? Like your father is the smart one, and with me, my mother is the smart one.
Oh, well, my mom's smart too, but and my dad's smart. Both my parents are smart.
Yeah, for me, it's
I'm
more
not
my
commenting.
mother.
I think my dad is more of like the intellectual, I guess, if you want to put that kind of terminology on it.
And my father is not that at all. My father can do anything.
All right,
with his
so
hands.
you see, you're grasping onto this because it's the one thing that isn't a creepy, weird parallel between our lives.
You brought it up. I didn't say shit.
I know, but I'm saying because you like found the one thing. Like, oh, there's just one thing. There's just one thing. Okay, well now I had a heart attack because I thought the stream just died. So I'm gonna go have a smoke and use the bathroom, and then why don't we just switch over to the Curtis Yarvin thing? Show it to Bill. Start that shit out.
Yeah, that's what we haven't even watched one solitary second.
I know.
Of that.
Let's move over to what the topic of the stream is. Well, I return in
Have
just a
you
moment.
heard Adam actually say the stupid thing yet?
What was the stupid thing?
He
I thought we already
agreed.
heard the stupid thing. What?
He agreed.
With what?
The math.
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh, give me a second. God damn it!
Oh, for heaven's sake. While Aiden is on a bag break. Ah, God, it feels so good to say that. But that is what she's smoking.
Such is life in the zone.
Ken's counseling. Have your parents read Locke though? I'm assuming that is to Aiden and not to myself, because my parents haven't read Locke. I don't think my parents even know what the fuck Locke is. I mean, for the Afrikaans, for heaven's sake, they don't read that shit. Like a girl talking about astrology.
The guy, my parents didn't read Locke, but the guy who runs the accounts department at my work said Enoch Powell's right.
Well, that is true though.
Yeah, you remember Guernsey still There's a reason Nigel Farage absolutely loves Guernsey.
No, I
He's
wonder
coming
why.
back here, and he's like universally beloved by everyone over the age of 40.
So, do you want a place of only the good whites? Yes, I do. I've made
As long as you're okay with the guilds.
Yeah.
That said, it's a waning situation now. Average age here is to go into the 70s.
I mean,
Did you get back out of it?
No, I waited for you.
Oh, dang it! You should go back in.
Right. I assume that's why you wanted.
I did say. Yeah, I did. Okay, sorry. I didn't. What's the? Sorry, I missed the dumb thing. Let's watch it. But oh no, the dumb thing is both Megyn Kelly and this other lady.
Irrelevant Jew
women
bitch 101.
in math, etc. No, just women can't do the maths. Apparently, good job, ladies. Really.
Especially if you're supposed to be working with stats, and that's kind of.
I know that's the upsetting part. As someone who does work with stats. Thanks, I love it.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to show.
We need to raise the victim status.
Oh, I knew that's why you wanted to show it to me because you were like, "Haha, Aiden, look, women math."
No, it's more like, look, Aiden's gonna get pissed off.
Yeah, because it's
therefore it's
nonsensical. Oh my goodness.
Some left-handed people.
So people will identify as left-handed.
What do you think?
Listen, that would be great. There's lots of white people out here who feel like they don't want to get hit with the oppression points when they apply for a job and say, "Listen, I am oppressed. I'm
left-handed." Exactly.
Okay.
Prove it.
Look I have mountains of history of oppression against
Twitching
me.
your fucking glasses.
Can I just identify as left-handed?
There you go. They have to be careful though, because this came up in some of the literature we saw.
I know.
You probably could.
Actually, I don't want to identify as left-handed. Let's ask the chat. Let's do a poll on how many people in our audience are left-handed before.
You may have said it already for all I fucking know.
I think he already said it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he already said it. But so real quick, I'm fairly sure he already said it. But Kizza for £5 says, "Who could name more cigarette companies between me and Aiden in 30 seconds? As I'm not a smoker. 1 for Aiden, 2 for Kizza. I'll just concede to you, Kizza, because I only know the companies that I smoke. But I mean,
That sounded really, really shitty.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Marlboro, Pall Malls, Newports, Jar and Blacks, which I smoke. Camel. Well, yeah, that's not fair. You're helping me. Black and Milds, which I also smoke. That's about it. I'm cigaretted out. So, oh well. Hey, Ken's Casting Couch. How's it going?
With a list like that, Jesus Christ, you're racing Iraqi for the N-word pass.
Oh, did I like? Voyous and Virginia Slims. There's 2. I put the lady cigarettes in there. Just tiny like.
I just love how in the
my mom's now throwing shit in from the other room.
In the top of the screen there, Adam looks like the fucking G-man with a pair of aviators on, but then you look down at him and he looks. What would you even describe that as? Mr. Repzion cosplaying as a fucking drama YouTuber.
Alright, you guys are being mean. Let's switch over to Curtis. May we?
Why else would I be here?
Were you expecting us to be nice?
I would like you to be nice to Adam and Sitch because I like them. But I was told this is a pro Keffel stream. Am I in the right place? 100% Ken. 100%. This is a Keffel's safe space. But
God, Biden is.
See, as you can see, we've got Adam and Sitch on. We already support the chronically unemployed.
No. Don't be mean. All right. Don't be mean. Let's go back to.
What do you mean?
Curtis
Don't be mean. His meanness is fucking keeping me awake. Fuck him. Keep being mean.
I'd say this is the longest that he's been conscious of these streams.
That's why we're going back to Ben Burgis because then it's way more funny to be mean to this because Ben is. What a ding dong.
That's fucking retarded.
All right. Go ahead. You guys started. I haven't gotten to smoke my cigarette yet and reduce my anxiety for a minute because my energy level has been at like.
Why do you need to reduce your anxiety? What's making you?
It's not anxiety. It's not anxiety. It's energy. It's because I was on a stream right before this where I was laughing at stupid shit, and now I'm laughing at stupid shit. So I want to reduce my anxiety a little bit. Not anxiety, my energy. Just
Yarvin here looks like he's about to launch into betrayal.
See, we should
betrayal.
Curtis and I need to trade places where I can turn because he's got his energy is low. But devastating. So just go ahead with this. I'll be right back. Okay.
with the top of his head.
And so you're essentially, when you're sort of looking at these things, and you're like, why doesn't Joe Sixpack, who drinks, Pabst Blue Ribbon, stop complaining about illegal immigrants and imports taking his jobs away? And why doesn't he vote to contribute 10% of his salary to some guy who was educated at Harvard? I think it's a pretty obvious take in a way for Joe Sixpack, and it's kind of surprising how long he's kept with this insane program.
Basically, he just said, this is why unions are gay. In a very Sticks-like manner. Well done.
Incredibly lazy caricature
Ben, hang on
of working class America.
Like you have ever even spoken to a working class person, you fat fuck. You look like more likely the kind of person to eat a working class person, let alone fucking talk to one.
He looks like Movie Bob, but with a weird fro. As opposed to a weird buzz cut.
You know what he looks like now that you say that? He looks like a Jewish version of Jenk.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the blazer. It gives him that kind of chunk aesthetic.
Oh god, yes,
also,
it really does.
Bringing those shoes, your multicolor fucking socks, your acid wash jeans, I'm not sure what shirt that is because it's so fucking horribly warped by your torso, and the worst cut blazer since Sargon.
Now that I've made the Jank joke and the Jank joke and you mentioned the blazer, now I can't fucking unsee it. Yeah, it really does look like him.
He is crammed into that blazer.
Big Ben Buffalo.
I think those are the same sketches I wear, and I wear them because I'm lazy and indolent.
By the way, does it not look like his legs are fucking tiny in this shot?
Yeah, he's got really tiny legs and really a massive spherical torso.
Yes,
it's weird.
His legs look so fucking tiny. He looks like he's fucking 5'4" in this fucking picture.
He looks like if Movie Bob was cosplaying as Phil and Lil's dad from the Rugrats. With that weird fro.
Yeah, he does. I can't unsee Jank.
And then there's Spoonie right beside him who looks like... Honestly, I know it's just the stance, but Curtis looks like he's placid.
Yeah,
I know he's
really
bored,
does.
but he looks like he's had a skinful. And then, again, there's just... fucking radium exposure Woody Harrelson. As the host. Trying desperately to rein this shit in.
He does look like his the lower half of his leg is actually shorter. I think his tibia is shorter than his fucking femur.
He looks like a spitting image puppet puppeteered by a thin man.
Yeah, he does.
He's meant to have a table in front of him to cover that up. But Curtis got to the table first.
I like how Thaddeus is on the right. Looks like he's scolding him in this picture. It's like, you're not allowed to talk. And Moldbug is just like, oh, God.
Listen to me, you ill-fitted, bladed piece of shit.
Ben,
is it a different galaxy than what public opinion tells you about what most Americans think?
Okay,
I can't make the joke.
The fact that he thinks polling data is a strong representation of what people actually want. The people are like, hey, look, if would you like to have sprinklers fly out of your asshole? Most people might say yes, but when it involves being shoved in there first before, people are like, oh yeah, I don't really want that. So it's kind of like, I know this is a bit of an unusual example, but this idea of if I pitch something in a voting, in a survey that sounds nice, then yeah, a lot of left-leaning things are overwhelmingly popular. But if you say, hey, look, we're going to tax your fucking balls off to get at this, then people are not really that much in favor of it anymore.
They actually are.
Really?
The astonishing thing that I found in the data when I looked into it.
Stop polling women.
Well, I mean, women are involved in the polls, but these are not polls exclusively of women.
Men poll women.
These are not exclusively polls of women. But the data that I found in my investigations recently of left versus right is that, and their opinions towards redistribution of wealth, which involves taxation, of course.
Of course it does.
Well, of course. Is that,
why does everyone think the state is fucking Robin Hood?
I don't know.
It's not.
But the most recently, the one that I went through, I more or less finished my list of studies that I wanted to include in my video. And the last one ended up being the worst. And I didn't even know it was going to be. So it ended up being an interesting denouement either way.
Does that not strike you as really bizarre?
What do you mean?
The Robin Hood thing is that people think you and I are bizarre because we want a monarch. And these fucking retards think that if you vote for someone, you give them ultimate power, they're going to be benevolent surely because they voted for it. That's like fucking juvenile dumb.
Robin of Lockley himself was a monarchist. If he existed as a person
would
at all.
like Richard back. It's a shame he's currently a prisoner in the Holy Land.
Yeah, Robin himself wanted Richard Lionheart back.
Brothers in charge.
Yeah, he didn't want his douchebag brother. He was still a monarchist. He was not in favor of democracy. His problem was with the corrupt monarch. If such a character actually existed in reality.
Who had all the actual clout in the situation.
Right.
Sheriff.
Right.
Reeve was, depending on the time period, the Reeve could be an elected position.
Right. But yeah, Robin of Lockley would have been was a monarchist. It was just he didn't like King John, who was not the legitimate monarch in his opinion, and who was treating people terribly. Maybe because he hadn't had the same background or relationship with the people that his brother had, who was the actual rightful king of England.
I love the people who treat the militias like a bunch of lepers. Other people aggrandizing Robin of Locksley.
Mm-hmm.
Was just him and a bunch of alcoholics in the woods with longbows.
Based, to be fair.
Oh, merry man!
Oh my god! Actually, I have one more aside. I was trying to show my mom Hot Fuzz last night, Bill. I have not watched Hot Fuzz since I moved to Guernsey. Oh my god, I was horrified.
Does everything you watch sound like pornos?
Hot Fuzz is
you've never seen Hot Fuzz?
It's the spiritual successor to Shaun of the Dead. It is the
it's
two of
for the Cornetto trilogy.
And it is the tightest screenplay in human history.
Yes, it's such a... You've never seen... Are you serious, Ben? You've never seen Hot Fuzz?
You haven't seen Death Note?
I can't believe you've never seen Hot Fuzz, though. Have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, I've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, it's the same people.
At World's End?
The which?
At the World's End.
World's End, the one with the aliens.
It's the same... It's Simon Pegg and the same... The Greater Good. Dude, Garden Party. I am horrified. I haven't watched that movie since I lived in Guernsey, Hot Fuzz. And it's like, oh shit, this is a movie about Guernsey.
First of all, I don't like what you're insinuating.
It made me feel rewatching it. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm back on the island.
First of all, we wouldn't make any attempt to hide the fact that we're a bunch of clannish assholes on an island somewhere. Secondly, we would never, ever put up with some foreign bugger being put in a position of power over us. All the people in the police department now are people I went to school with.
That's what I'm saying. They don't like Officer Angel being there, though.
I love it.
Just an aside. On the Robin Hood question, I'll leave this here. Please do enjoy it. Thank you, Kizza. I'll maybe pull it up and we'll see if we can watch it in a bit. Oops, something went wrong.
Wait for it to be something that gets us incriminated again. Usually it's with Kizza.
Oh, there we go. Oh. What is this?
I would ask you to please.
Oh, it's the friar versus the sheriff. There's no way we can play even a minute and a half of a Disney movie, even if it's one that Disney doesn't really like anymore.
We'd be lucky to get away with Shrek.
Right, but Shrek's DreamWorks.
I know, so we'd be lucky to get away with Shrek.
Right, like you can't do that shit at all. I would normally, I'd play it, but Disney
We'd be lucky to get away with a picture book, like live reading of the original book of Shrek.
I know. Anywho, let's get back into Moldbug.
Okay. So we're going to go to Q&A in a second, but I want to let
this is
each
what
of
we've been
you say whatever
waiting
you want to
for,
say
right?
before we do that.
Yeah, the Q&A is funny.
Sure. I think if you actually look at Joe Sixpack's immigration views as measured by actual polls, which I think are a better way.
How about I just measure his views by asking him the fucking question, you fat bastard?
Well, I mean,
what a stupid thing to say.
But that only... Well, I mean, you should poll people if you want to know their opinions on things.
Yes,
yeah.
Only people who reply to those are like 80-year-old assholes.
Right. That is the problem.
And they're overwhelmingly leftists.
Yes.
Because right-wing people see a piece of paper from the government, piece of paperwork from the government, and think, "Oh fuck, what do these pricks want this time?"
Right.
Of figuring out what people think, take a broad randomized scientific sample rather than just sort of what's Curtis's impression of Joe Sixpack. I think that you'll find out that actually, certainly by global standards, that there is a lot more support for things like a path to citizenship and even liberalization of legal.
Yeah, of course, for a global fucking audience, it would be, you shithead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, they're trying to get into the country. Oh my fucking god, this.
Well, this doesn't make any sense. Wow, you think if you did a
Mexicans
global poll,
local Mexican population polled about their opinion on illegal immigration.
I mean, yeah,
wouldn't work in Europe though, because all the Madeiras would kick that ladder down so fucking fast your head would spin. I sure don't like all these Latvians coming over here," said the Madeiran.
What type of absolute nonsense is that? It's like, if we did a global poll and if they would be fine people would be all over the world would be fine with illegal immigration to the United States, I think we'd find a lot of support.
How do we feel about the Americans trying to get into the country? How do they feel about America's immigration system? I imagine they'd be in favor of changing it to suit them.
I mean, what an absolutely pants on head stupid thing to say. No shit, Ben.
If you compared the political stance on immigration between all politicians in America and the Dalai fucking Lama,
the Dalai Lama
would come out looking like Civ 5 Gandhi.
Right.
Yeah, because he said let Europe be for the Europeans.
Yeah, it's like,
which is like, oh my god.
Just the Dalai Lama saying, like, can you motherfuckers calm down, please?
What the hell kind of argument is that?
I've legit heard like the blackest African dudes say the immigration is going to destroy Europe. They're not protecting their own culture.
Yes, I've heard that clip.
What the fuck?
As the South African meme goes, of course, I'm friends with him. He's a racist as well. He said the Boer to the black gentleman.
He's a racist as well. But I mean, what a
you have to understand, if we're going to live together, we need to have our own spaces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What an absolutely.
Which is basically saying we both advocate for segregation. That's basically what that means.
Yeah, I guess.
And their side of the fence goes, "Hey, Steve, how's it going? Hey, Ubuntu, it's going pretty well. How's things over there? Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Do you know what
you do you, fam?
Do you know what would be a fun question to ask these people?
Mm.
These leftists. Are you pro colonization or pro segregation? Pick one.
What? They'd just say no. Tonight, no, we're really like good things.
Yeah, but you have to pick one of those.
No. They would just refuse to pick one. I guarantee it, dude.
Yeah, but we have to pick one because that's the opposite choices.
My personal favorite.
I know.
Are you racist or are you ecological protection?
Ooh, that would be a good question.
Are you an anti-environmentalist or are you racist? Those are that was literally like bronze.
Well, again, they just that's a false dichotomy, and I do agree it's a false dichotomy. I don't think you'd be able to get an answer.
Would I get to be racist and hate the environment? Fuck yeah. I'm totally in favor of that.
If you're an environmentalist, you're inherently racist.
Oh fuck.
That's the argument.
Right, it is. Green
stuff's fun
yes.
too. Green stuff's fun too. You know, turn to nature, wheat fields and women and sunglasses and all that kind
wheat
of stuff.
fields.
What is going to make people think I think my race is superior and I also don't like women? I want that one. That would be my favorite option.
Have you considered visiting FIT?
Yeah.
True, yeah.
How do you feel about white people? They should be put on the throne and everyone else be subjugated.
Bruh, disavow. Holy shit, my dude.
Oh, why South African?
You live in Ireland.
I know you're South African, so you're allowed to. I guess you're kind of allowed to say shit that's fucked up, but.
If I'm supposed to be the minority who can say insane shit, then I am exercising my privilege.
Right, if minorities
the world
are allowed to say anything they want.
As far as the British broadcasting companies is to be concerned, people of Irish citizenship have the N-word pass because of Elvis Costello.
Really? Oh man,
yes, he was allowed to use the N-word.
Could become very based. Because I heard one of those.
If you've ever seen Oliver's Army, which is reference to Oliver Cromwell, the N-word is dropped in relation to Irish people, and that was actually played.
Poor Aiden's like, please don't say the N-word, please don't say the N-word, please don't say the N-word.
Bill, who is a qualified Pan-African priest, Irish.
Oh, right, yeah, Bill's a Pan-African priest. He is allowed to probably say it.
Because of my skin color, I can only award the hard R.
Okay.
That's our word.
God,
Right.
I feel like if I did a stream with Bill on Rumble, God, it'll be.
Yeah, it'd be.
No, I don't believe in the N word because I think it's lazy. We need to go in. We need to diversify our portfolio.
What does he mean by this?
The term bigot, by the way, is a slur against people from Normandy.
Oh yeah.
So I am a firm believer in obscure and bordering on retarded slurs. That's
What?
not even a slur.
You've never heard that phrase, Aiden? Really?
No, it's obscure enough that it's flew under my radar, and I'm an expert in this field.
Oh my God.
Might be a regional like.
Have you never heard that phrase?
Oh my God, we just have devolved into obscure slurs.
We watched Jim who said moon crickets. We can't say shit.
I know. You think that's
I was
obscure.
about to bring up specifically that one.
I don't think that
It's
one's
such a good
obscure.
phrase, though.
It's real strong.
I love the fact
But
that he
you-
made a T-shirt of it. Like, oh my god.
Well,
And he said
Razorfist got away
yeah.
with saying a moon cricket dancing on a slice of fried watermelon. So I think we can get away with
Oh my
referencing it.
God.
Poor
Look at what I
Aiden's
have to
like,
deal
oh my
with.
god. Fuck you. You put me through hell all the time. Now the chat gets have fun with racial slurs.
How
Fuck
far
it,
are
let's
we
go.
into this second part of this video that I was brought in for at 9 o'clock? It's now 10:30.
That's a good point. So I want to get on with it.
Let's
Curtis
get back
Yarvin's
into it.
face has barely moved. It's still in the same default
Oh,
expression it was when
that's
we
just how
started. This
he
is
is,
basically
though.
the same frame we started on.
But Bill, he's always like that. He always has
Yeah.
that face.
Legal immigration than you might think. I would also point out that Donald Trump, when he was elected, was really underselling the very Reaganite economics that, to a great extent, he actually implemented, and he was going around and lying about how he was going to bring the jobs back.
Which he actually did,
He
by the way.
brought back.
Yeah, he did that though.
Also,
In places like West Virginia, where there were even fewer by the time he left office. Than
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, because the pandemic
Excuse me.
happened,
Excuse me.
moron.
Excuse me. Oh, fuck you. Oh no! Now you've said my magic word. Absolutely,
It's
fuck
the
you.
magic
Less
word,
jobs
Captain.
in
Welcome to
West Virginia.
Pee-wee's
Less
Playhouse.
job in West Virginia than there were when he came into office. Do you have any idea the extreme mass variety of variables that went into that? Most specifically of which is 70 years of Democrat economic policy in West Virginia, which destroyed the coal mines, destroyed the steel mills, destroyed the glass works, destroyed every single industry in my home state, so that the only thing left for people to do was gamble with government welfare checks. You absolute rube. Do not talk about West Virginia, which I know that you know nothing about, and you would probably cringe and look down your nose at anyone from West Virginia for being an ignorant hillbilly, you coastal elitist prick.
Also, this prick is probably from the same neck of the woods as Trump. He's probably a goddamn New York Democrat.
Most
Same
likely.
as Trump was.
Most likely.
Trump's got pretty good innings for a New York Democrat, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, as far as we know, he hasn't raped anyone.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well, he's not open.
Putting him
anyway.
above everyone else who's been fucking mayor there for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually.
When he came in, he was going around and lying about wanting a less hawkish foreign policy when he actually tore up the Iran nuclear deal and
Okay, so that's nothing to do with really foreign policy invasion. Hey, look, this is a really bad deal that's fucking us. How about we get rid of it? Eh? That's not a bad
Also,
foreign policy.
What was his ratio of wars to peace deals?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even like the Orange
oh, how
Box
interesting.
anymore.
and assassinated Soleimani.
Oh my god, he
Only
assassinated
first
one
president
general.
in how many years? How many years was it? 40 to not start a new war?
Yeah, something like that.
Donald Trump?
He
was
assassinated
pretty
one
significant.
guy, and this is a hawkish foreign policy.
Yeah.
So-
Meanwhile, Obama assassinated a innocent, untried American citizen on foreign
Within his
soil.
first week, he was killing people with drones.
So let me get this straight, Ben. Aside from economic policies, you also don't understand foreign policy.
Are you surprised?
No, not really.
Man, if only Trump can really bring it back around. All he needs to do is drop a building with 3,000 people in it into the fucking stone,
I guess so, right?
and then everyone in the Democrat Party will look back on him fondly.
Well, that was it.
Bush.
You may not remember this, but the only time that the news media apparatus called Trump presidential or praised him was when he bombed Syria.
When
he bombed Syria.
He warned the Russians ahead of time, said, get all your boys off the fucking ground because we're glassing material sites.
And then as soon as he did that, they said, oh, Trump's finally acting presidential. They're warhawk. And how ironic.
The Raytheon
call the
checks
Republicans.
Cleared.
And by the way, the Republicans are warhawks, but to call Trump in particular, or in particular, Trump was a warhawk, when the only time the leftist media apparati ever said anything nice about him was when he bombed Syria. You lying.
I wonder why this gentleman might have a vested interest in war in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
And then what happens afterwards? People said Trump...
Because he believes in global liberal hegemony.
And then he stopped doing that. He didn't do any further attacks.
I think he probably has a summer home somewhere near Tel Aviv.
Oh, in Tel Aviv. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I just got
no, he hasn't been found out to be a nonce yet. He hasn't got a reason to flee there.
I think it's because no one will go near him. Not even the children.
The only thing saving those children is the fact his gut overhangs so much over those skinny ass legs.
I mean, considering the size of his butt,
his crotch is an exclusion zone.
Oh God!
Oh God! Given the size.
By the way, sent heavy weaponry to Ukraine, which Obama had been unwilling to do, etc., etc. So I don't think it's that now Joe Sixpack doesn't really support any of the social democratic stuff, whatever the polls might say about universal health care and the minimum wage. They're really
frame of animation just sat there. He has one frame of animation. He's like a glitched out Guild Wars 1 character. Holy fuck.
Because the part that you missed, Bill, which is that Curtis just knows so much more about global politics than this guy does. Curtis brought some stuff up that I had no idea about, and neither did Spoon. We were all just like, ooh, I don't know what he's talking about there. But this guy, acting as if he did, which he clearly did not, just went on a tangent, which was unrelated to things that Curtis had said when we watched it yesterday.
Tangents on this show.
Yeah. I know, we never do that here.
I mean, imagine sitting next to Curtis Yarvin, and you're advocating for universal health care and of high minimum wage. Like, it's so juvenile level of retardation. It's not even funny. It's just sad and stupid.
So serfdom.
Kids of her £5 says, Aiden, what have I told you? Neocons are not conservative, but liberal hawks. I know. I'm just remarking on it. Remember the liberal world order? Yes, I know. And don't make me get the belt, dear. I'm well aware, kids. It's just sometimes when you see it, it's infuriating.
They're really Trumpians. I also don't think it's true that the SEIU is nothing but a branch of the Democratic Party. It's certainly not true that it's remotely comparable to meaningless state unions that couldn't go on strike, etc., in Eastern European countries during the Cold War.
I resemble that remark, so it's not true. Okay.
To most members of that, they're very aware of the difference it makes for wages, the difference it makes for job security. If you're worried about free speech or being canceled, by the way.
Okay, though, dude, you can't just say something like, no, it's not the same, it's different, I swear, trust me, bro, and not provide any example or information as to how.
What good examples of unions have there been recently?
Well, he's just said that any example that's bad is fake, essentially.
So basically no true Scotsman. But how about we talk about the unions, like the teachers' unions that cover up for paedophiles?
Yeah, well, no, but that's not a real union. Bill.
On a level that makes the Boston Catholic diocese scandals look like a joke.
That's not a real union. It's always this no true Scotsman shit, isn't it? Though, because that's what he basically just said. Is no, it's not a real union. Okay.
Don't play football, people who control where the goalposts go.
Well, right, but this is the whole problem, and this is where you always have a problem with people like this.
Play on their terms.
Is that it will never, if it doesn't work, then it's not real, and it won't. And if it doesn't work because it's a silly, ridiculous political policy that will never work, then it's never real. That's what he's doing. You're correct. It's no true Scotsman through and through.
Then probably the main thing you're worried about, America in 2022, unless you're Edward Snowden or something, you're probably not that worried about being killed or in prison. You're probably worried about losing your job. And whereas
Every
the
time it's an
alleged
FSB.
candidate of Joe Sixpack, Donald Trump, filled the National Labor Relations Board with people who were so reluctant to undermine employers' firing abilities that they sided with Google against James Damore, unions
Ooh, that was the left-leaning people at Google who sided against James Damore. And that they called him a sexist, and that's why they did it? Are you forgetting about this part of that story,
They
Ben?
tried to cancel him under the Me Too movement.
Yes. You're forgetting conveniently that the James Damore story was that they reframed all of that James Damore was a sexist, and that's why we shouldn't listen to him. You are lying through your teeth
are the same
with
people,
this retelling.
These are the same people who don't like the last concept behind Orwellian dystopias, which is the idea that the people will police themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in Google.
Yep.
The people, because these kind of cutthroat corporate fucking scenarios like these, like Google, that anyone who smells blood will tear apart the person bleeding, because it's another chance to step up just a little bit on that ladder.
Yeah.
These people are held up like they're some kind of fucking martyrs.
Yep.
Working in this, like, these open plan, like, completely egalitarian societies. They're not. They are Game of Thrones fanboy wannabes.
Yeah.
Stabbing each other in the back over and over again for a nicer fucking foosball table in their office that they'll never use because they're too busy working 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Like, it's a mug's game. It really
Yes.
is through and through.
But I mean, what a really, really sleazy way to reframe the James Damore story, Ben. That's what
it's James always been. Let's take it back to
Google employees. No, he was fired because he was called a sexist for saying that the women weren't doing anything at Google, which they weren't.
Let's take it back to the Obama administration. Who killed Osama bin Laden? Is it the majority right wing SEAL team that was sent into the shit, or is it the commander in chief Obama who literally just sits back on his ass? And
well, of course, it was Obama.
Weddings.
Obama did it.
Who is universally hated by the SEAL team that
yep.
who performed the operation.
Forget that part.
And who had most of them killed?
Good question.
I'm guessing.
Actually, in real life, protect the free speech rights of members who disagree with what union leadership thinks all the goddamn time. I think that
Ben,
widespread
your side
union
is constantly bitching on Twitter about removing people's free speech because it's hate speech.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know Ben Burgis' specific position on that. But if I were to take a guess, a shot in the dark, I would imagine that Ben's probably very happy that Twitter removes people's freedom of speech.
A
if
shot in
people
the
that he
dark
dislikes.
also describes his sex life.
Oh, probably. Woo.
That's a good shot.
Conversation is a good way to make this a more democratic country in the simple sense of giving ordinary people more power over what's going on, and that would be a very, very, very good thing.
Curtis. I would say...
Before Chris responds, by the way.
You don't say that. It's like...
Before you
You've got a little bit of my soul.
Want to play that style again?
Yeah, before you respond, so I also want to say that when this guy says ordinary people, I think we should be aware of who he means. He means ordinary people who agree with him.
The anointed.
Who have the same politics as him. Not, if they disagree with him, then no. You need to be removed from Twitter. You don't, no, because you have a dangerous voice.
Joe's six-pack is not a friend.
Right. So it's only for people that he likes who should have voices.
I sort of...
Let's see, the unions really stood strong on helping folks keep their jobs in the face of a certain mandate. They will definitely defend free speech rights.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I love that
it's sort of difficult coping with a level of mythos.
Thank you, Superman. You're completely correct on that, by the way, yeah.
You sort of, you kind of live within
Bourgeois
a certain narrative, and it's a narrative that, of course, we all know very well, having grown up in a world where basically Howard Zinn is everybody's high school history textbook.
And that was quite a slam dunk.
Yeah, but he has to say, no, that's not true.
Of
No,
course.
he chimed in with, God, I wish that was true. Like,
yeah. Well, at least he wishes it were true. It is true. But here's the thing, right? The left, like Ben Burgis, constantly have to. It is a requirement of their perpetual in-group victimhood orientation, PIVO, to portray themselves as the underdogs, as the victims. They can never, ever, ever, ever accept that they have any they can never admit that they have any power. They must always be the underdogs. Yes, they must always play the underdog victim. So it doesn't matter. And this is why debating with people like this doesn't work, because their entire worldview is based on the perception or the lie, depending on how intelligent they are or aware of it they are, that they and their political group is victimized always. They could have, and they more or less do, but they could have control of the House, the Senate, the presidency. They could have
the Republicans.
Complete control over absolutely every single, from the president down to every mayoral election in the United States, every local governance position in every single district, in every town, and they would still be forced to, by nature of their politic, call themselves the victims. It's part of the narrative.
It's
part of their philosophy.
Guy elected, and they still consider themselves the victims.
Yes, it's part of their, not just narrative, it's part of their philosophy.
You mean Biden or the actual dead guy?
Be victims.
Either or.
Yeah, because there was an actual dead guy elected. Like overwhelming numbers.
It wasn't just one. It was actually like 3 in some of the local elections, so smaller local elections too. There were like 2 other dead guys elected by Democrats this last season. Yeah.
The irony is that probably would be the best politicians.
Probably.
Because they don't fucking do anything.
The whole situation makes it reads like a fucking Warhammer like tract. Against like planetary corruption.
Bourgeois.
Keep the emperor in power, I guess.
No, not even
but
that.
The emperor is
like planetary governor bullshit. Yeah, where, like they elect a fucking cat. And the cat's been in power for 300 years.
Right.
And the cat keeps changing color.
Yeah. More or less.
And the sort of the sense of like suggesting that there are other ways to parse and understand these realities is like hard for someone. It's hard to convey to someone who doesn't seem to have that spirit of questioning per se. And so
basically, you can laugh all you want, fat ass. Laugh all you want, fat ass. As somebody brought up in the chat, sorry, who said this? Yeah, Super Manador. Yeah, the people who can call up Webster and get them to change dictionary definitions tomorrow, we're the ones who don't have any power. Yes.
Yeah.
It's this way every time. They can say, "Oh, we don't like this. This Hunter Biden story may make our guy look bad, so it's fake news. Delete it. And if you even say anything about it, you will be removed from your ability to speak in public."
Oh wait, right. It is his laptop, but the president didn't know anything about it. Okay, so the president was directly involved, but it didn't affect his judgment.
No, of course not. Yeah. Of course not. So, but again, but we're not in any power. We're the weak ones. We're the little guys. Even when we have all the power, remember, they will never stop. There is no end. It never ends with these people ever, until
it ends with the Battle of Athens.
Yes, it ends with every single one of us in essentially wage slave.
They love soft power.
Yes.
More than anything. That's
why they love COVID.
They've got attrition on their side because these people are career politicians. They grind away at your rights and your powers until you die, until you're in a ditch somewhere.
And they think it's hilarious.
Piss and blood.
And they think it's hilarious because they think that they are morally superior to you. So anything bad that happens to you and your family, it's all better for them.
You will get a more honest political tract from Sam Hyde than you will from a Democrat.
Here's the thing. The way that I'm describing the left at this point is very extremist. I would have never done this in the past. It's because I've never gone this far in the past because it wasn't until I've recently finished my research on it and read what they themselves say about themselves, which is that if someone doesn't agree with them, here's the citation. Lennon Bates, 2021, each to count for one and none for more than one, predictors of support for economic redistribution, published in Sci-Arxiv. is that if people don't agree with our leftist politics, we should be allowed to torture and kill them. That is what leftists said by their own free will volition to scholars when asked, what should we do with people who don't agree with us politically? So he might be sitting here and chuckling to himself right now, but in his fucking mind, Ben Burgis is thinking about how much he'd love to torture and murder Curtis Yarvin, just based on the data, not based on feelings, based on their own scientifically assessed reports of their own goddamn opinions. So I'm a little pissed.
And these are people ostensibly from the same phenotype.
Ooh, bruh.
These are people, this is not a racial line thing. This is not a white person and a black person who hate each other. This is not an Asian person and a Cherokee person who hate each other. This is someone of Semitic descent and another person of Semitic descent. People who have got the highest in-group acclamation, any group, and he is frothing at the bit to get a piece of him. It is like I've always, especially recently in my life, I've fallen back on the R.E. Howard quote of civilized men are more discourteous than savages because they know they can be impolite with having their skulls split.
Oh yeah, true. Thing. Very true. Good R.E. Howard quote.
And you know what? R.E. Howard, as soon as his mother passed away, he got in his car and he put a gun to his head. Because I think
he's a very troubled man.
He's been through a lot of shit, and losing a lot of family like that losing essentially tribe in that fashion to such an extent.
Well, anyone who loses their family like that,
it's hell on earth.
It is. But Bill, you went through your father passed away not long ago, and I've never lost a parent. But
exactly, like it's rough to go through. But someone as prolific as R.E. Howard, who, even though he only wrote pulps, ostensibly like fodder fiction,
but they were still amazing pulps.
So much philosophy.
Yes, and have lasted
like
the test of time.
The idea of like this, like in these, honestly, R.E. Howard kind of put that at the basis of the people who would. People like Bronze Age pervert who would crop up. Like the Bronze Age mindset is very much rooted in the Hyborian Age stuff. The idea of in time, especially in the early chapters of Bronze Age mindset, Bronze Age pervert brings up the idea that in a completely closed off ecosystem where everything is stagnant, eventually a nemesis will occur. A particularly large and vicious, usually man-hunting example of a creature, be it man or beast, will occur. And
you're talking about Leviathan.
Leviathan type figures who eventually a hero figure will arise to face them down, and by slaying them, wear their mantle on as a cloak and take on the authority and power of slaying such a beast to show. I have slain this thing.
Yeah.
This is my authority. The might I have as a person. R.E. Howard had that, laid that groundwork. That's why he's so prolific, even though nowadays you don't see anything from it. I think probably by design. We haven't seen a R.E. Howard property since what? There was a Solomon Kane film in 2007 and a Jason Momoa reboot of Conan, which is good.
Which is fine, but
we haven't seen a Conan IP since Exiles, an MMO.
No, and they fucked up John Carter of Mars, which was by his colleague, who also was incredibly depressed. I mean, all those guys were.
Yeah, honestly, one of the few people who didn't top themselves was Lovecraft, because he died of stomach cancer.
No, because he died of cancer. He's one of the ones who didn't.
He died in the worst way possible.
I know. Real quick, Peter Pretend says Aiden math genius. I'm not a math genius, but 1.6 compounded for 8 years is 42.95, which is 4,300. She did throw that number out, but I knew it wasn't 45 or 4,600, which was the other number she gave, because dumb cable viewership though. So you might be right that she was rounding up, but her I was going on the 4,500 number, which I knew even from my not doing the calculation was not correct. But I don't know. I guess she was correct with her first number, 4,300. But yeah. Well, she did say, but then she changed it. And then she changed it to 60%. Well, 60% per year. So okay, I guess that makes sense then. I guess that 60% per year. Okay. If she's the first number, but then she used that 4,500 number twice. Whatever. Her maths are a little bit screwy.
Remember that time CNN put on like the taxi driver thinking he was some expert?
Oh right. That was funny. Kids of her $5 from Hans says, Aiden, the greatest cure for this problem is my human rights model. We know what that is, Kissa. Anyone who disagrees with this, I'll gladly give a demonstration. Yes, we are aware. I think most of us here. And I'm not. I don't agree with that. You know that
civilization.
You know how I feel. Oh, Edgar Wright Burroughs. Thank you, Sleepy Shadow. But yeah, a lot of people there who had a lot of problems. But this is just so incredibly infuriating when you just hear them lie through their teeth like this, and just. I gotta use the bathroom again. I'll be right back.
As an aside, does it not occur? It suddenly occurred to me that the people who would make up the weird fiction, like literary faction, if they were around today, would just be in a Discord call somewhere shitposting.
I hope so. I wouldn't mind shitposting. He says funny.
Well, the only difference today is that they'd be friends with more black people. It's the only people who would look at this sense of humor.
Friends. Interesting word.
I think that what I would recommend, honestly, like for you as a progressive intellectual, I guess, have you done a lot of like menial labor? Have you have you worked in factories and stuff?
Oh, that.
I once worked as a food taste tester by the looks of it.
Of what? Fucking oil?
Diesel fuel.
I have worked I have worked at jobs where I've stood in trucks for 8 hours a day every day, loading and unloading boxes. That's not anything I would bring up because I actually don't think. I think that much like liberals who fetishize lived experience, I think that there's all these constant appeals to what anybody has or hasn't done.
I have not done any of those things. I'm lying through my teeth.
Yeah.
Are pretty intellectually vacuous, almost as much so as saying, well, I pity you because you're trapped in narratives, and if you only understood the truth, which I am a conveyor of, you would understand that I'm right, which cannot possibly be mistaken for an argument.
The guy told you to read progressive novels, not right-wing books, and that tells me, like, you didn't even listen to what Moldbug even said.
No, it's not an argument. It's actually sort of, because we live in very different realities, we can't really argue. And this is why, basically, rather than encouraging you to read right-wing materials, I want to encourage you to read older left-wing materials.
See, case in point.
I think that this will give you sort of a little bit more of a perspective of simply how different the time of your sort of
go ahead, count your head a little bit more to the right.
How different a thing unions were 100 years ago from now, and you seem to be sort of conflating that America with this America in many, many ways, and it's hard to that's kind of the best advice that I can give you on how to open your mind a little bit, and I sort of welcome
Jesus
the reverse.
Christ, this is vacuous nonsense. I'm going to give you advice about how to open your mind a little bit.
I welcome
we're here to talk about this underlying issue,
sure.
And Curtis is wasting all of his time grandstanding about how he's discovered the truth, and he pities people who don't get it yet.
Sure. I mean, when I talk about things that to me seem like obvious realities, they're not valid realities within your mythos. And so we can't really have that conversation because you're simply referring back to facts within the story.
That's why we should talk less.
What a silly waste of this opportunity.
Less about history and more about ideas. And so I want to turn it over to you all.
Translation.
Please, fire away. Oh boy, okay, we have a lot here. I'm trying to think about the audio.
My hairline's receding in real time.
You can just talk, and then I will relay the question through the microphone. I'll restate it, so give it a beat before I before you answer. I have no idea who answered first. I'm going to go with Tori first here.
Okay. I guess the question that I felt was most relevant, I don't know, sort of, is to Ben. It was in relation to what he was talking about, with people not being interested in politics in a real genuine kind of way, which I agree with. I don't think people are. There would be more people here.
By the way, I want you all to listen very carefully to what he says, because this is such a political answer. And by that I mean he doesn't address the fucking point at fucking all.
So the premise here is she's positing that people do not have an earnest interest in politics. They have a perfunctory one.
Yes, precisely.
Here. But I think the question is like, do you not think irrationality is a result of disinterest in reality?
Do you not think irrationality is a result of a disinterest?
Sorry, I couldn't have phrased that double negative. Do you think irrationality is a result of disinterest?
Do you think irrationality is a result of disinterest in reality?
She just said, what she just said is far smarter than anything he said in the past hour and a half.
Yeah, the fact that he had the temerity to call Curtis Yarvin's arguments vacuous is...
Coming from him is hilarious.
Coming from him in particular is hilarious.
A bunch of fucking hot. He's been coming out with a bunch of hot air, and this woman in the crowd has just come out with like, maybe this is all because no one gives a shit about reality because it's all a big farce.
Well, it's also, I mean, Russell aided Ben out majorly here of let's not talk about history because it's been made extremely evident that Ben has no understanding of the history of the stuff that Curtis is talking about. So
I don't think many people do, to be fair.
No, we didn't either. So
because the man's fucking like an autistic fucking walking library.
Yes, he's a library of information on things like that. So I don't know. I guess that's fair. But then for Ben to just say this is vacuous, you're wrong, you're not given any reason why, and as Grim Reaper 9900 pointed out in the chat, when he called Curtis vacuous, because I was watching him when I was outside smoking my cigarette, he turned towards the audience again, which means he's looking for validation from the audience. He's looking for validation from people watching.
It's never been about for the left. It's just validation from the mob. Meanwhile, Yarvin's over here thinking to himself, can I throw this fat fuck out of this window like it's the defenestration of Prague?
Which is all that Ben Burgis advocates for and ever has advocated for, which is mob rule. Which is not republicanism even. Mob rule.
Well, let's compare the two factors. We got Ben here, who is looking to get a good grift going so he can make some money, or Curtis, who is arguing what can best be described as the least popular stance in modern political history.
Yeah, pretty much. We should know, having chosen to also take it. It is not
the political equivalent of pushing wet rope uphill.
Yeah. And he is arguing for the most, in contrast, Ben is arguing for the most popular stance in modern history.
And everyone hates him.
Well, no, people clearly really like his dumb fuck arguments. But they're not arguments.
All people.
No, I know, but
like
I said
watching a Dan main in Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's fascinating though. Because he clearly he doesn't have an argument. It's so funny that his book is called that when he consistently fails to have any argument.
I did say in one year when that Ben does look like a Jewish jank with the blazer and everything, and now I can't fucking.
He does dress like jank. That's true.
Yes. But he looks like Movie Bob.
But he looks like Movie Bob. Again, this is Spoonie versus Movie Bob.
That's not a combination the world needed.
No, it's
the Armenians stand no chance. They will be devoured en masse. It's gonna be massacre.
This is absolutely Spoonie versus Movie Bob. Spoonie is winning. Movie Bob is just screaming.
Movie Bob. We're gonna get like 3 System of a Down albums out of this.
My God, he acts like Movie Bob. Doesn't just look like him. He acts like him too.
Yeah, that same sociopathic, like Nazbol gang weird shit he does.
Yeah, yes, the stuff he says on Twitter. The crazy stuff that like Movie Bob will say stuff about it. Like
we should just start gassing people.
We should have just started killing people I don't like.
We're just gonna kill them.
We're just gonna kill them.
Movie Bob is like the character that Sam Hyde is parodying.
Does that not put in like an Ethan Klein?
Yes, well, Ethan Klein, thinks Ben Shapiro should be gassed.
He's got the same haircut as Ethan Klein, next though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So it's Moondog's face and torso, Ethan Klein's haircut,
Jenks wardrobe,
and Chank's wardrobe.
And
Jesus
Chank's wardrobe.
Christ. I couldn't think of a worse combination of my
I know, it's with a
life.
combination of the worst qualities of mankind. Oh, and all of their absolutely vile politics also combined as well.
That's like having the right wing equivalent is like what Sargon's fit, Tim Pool's hairline, and fucking Ben Shapiro's height.
Yeah,
yeah,
but with the politics of Mitch McConnell.
Oh God,
Jesus Christ!
Just absolute nightmare humanoid.
I would think in the grand scheme of things, Mitch McConnell's politics is closer to Ben's than it is to Moldbug's.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That would be like the right wing equivalent of the worst possible group of things, right?
Yeah, well, what is even Mitch McConnell's phenotype? Yertle the turtle?
Yes, he's a turtle humanoid.
Well,
Minnesota Fats, serious question. What is the appeal of mob rule? I don't get it. Because Democrats have the majority because they tell the people that they're going to give them things. And as they are just discussing here, people don't think about politics.
It's the sublimation of blame.
Yeah.
I'm not completely to blame because, see, I was
I'm not to
misled
blame
by everyone else saying this was good.
Also, they need to get lost in a crowd because individually they feel pathetic and weak, and in the strength of a crowd is the only place where they feel like they belong.
Again, it's perpetual in-group victimhood orientation. I am always a victim. I am always a victim. I need to be aided by the government. Doesn't matter. In these studies that I've looked at, and I will be making a video on in the very near future.
Oh my God, Kizzy, that was fucking brutal.
Because
God, what's Kizzy come out with this?
Oh no, Kizzy says for 5 says the only thing that could take Ethan's enormous size is an autoclave, as no oven is big enough for him.
Have you seen that shit? It is a shit post I've seen. It is an edit.
Disavow,
which is
dude. Oh my God.
when Ethan Klein came out with that shit about I hope there's another Holocaust that they get Ben Shapiro first. I saw a shit post where it was an edit of Ben Shapiro's post where it says, I hope they make triple XL ovens then, you fat fuck. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, holy shit, yeah, what? Savage.
That's not, I wish
didn't actually say
Ben
that.
Shapiro
I know, I
would
wish
come
he
out
had.
with something that fucking funny. As it stands, honestly.
Well, when you think about it logically,
when you think about it logically, the only reason that people follow Ben Shapiro online these days is to see what his sister is up to.
Well, speaking of a very large oven, she's got big old
Is that Japanese court case where the gravure idol was completely cleared of blame because she had proved that she could not possibly, with her jugs, fit through that window?
I haven't even heard about this.
That's an actual court case. She'd prove I can't fit through this window.
Her boobs with a very kind of animated looking face throws me very off.
You say you don't find Abby Shapiro attractive?
No.
Wow.
It's 2 watermelons on an ostrich.
I don't know. I think Abigail Shapiro is extremely attractive.
Yeah, but her face is very cute, and then she's got massive porn star knockers. It looks really weird. It just the whole package looks off.
I disagree. We disagree on the Abby Shapiro
it's half
question.
Queen's Blade and half olive oil from Popeye.
I think I like her. I think she's very cute. I like her expressive face, and of course, everybody likes her tiggled biddies.
I don't.
You don't like her Oh, you told me that you think they're too big.
Yes. Look at a proportion for just her face.
I don't know. I like her tiggled biddies. I think Abigail Shapiro is very attractive. I think she's a very beautiful woman, and I'm very happy for her and her husband.
You look almost exactly the same.
I don't think I look like Abigail Shapiro, though. I don't know where that meme comes from.
A lot of people seem to.
Yeah, you do look a bit similar.
God damn it!
Bird person. Everyone in the chat, call her what she is. Bird person. Bird person.
And my titties are not like that. Come on now.
You can barely hold yourself up as it is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think if you had boobs like that, you would be drowning yourself in
I'd
your
fall
own
over.
tits. Yeah.
I'd fall over.
I'd have better things to do than to be on this podcast.
Well, Bill will be back on Tuesday.
Oh, fucking hell. Aiden, no fan of Bush, but a fan of
so well.
big old biddies.
Yes, I don't like Bush,
and
but
for
I like biddies.
People who are watching this or listening to this later, the setup to the question was about what Thad had said earlier about, not enough people maybe being interested in political involvement.
He disagreed
with
us, though,
I do want
earlier.
to just quickly do both halves of that question.
Curtis
So
looks like
I
he's about to
think
jump in the
that
parking lot later.
irrationality, one source of irrationality concerns
Is rampant among my specific political faction.
Well, it's rampant upon any political faction, but it's because it's based on social group identity, not based on
I
facts.
think
He admitted to this, like 3 minutes ago.
I think
Is he
not
now
so much
going to
in
explain?
ours.
Wait,
Like,
was it that long ago?
No, in our specific niche one,
Oh,
because you need
ours,
to be
okay.
like quite autistic to be a monarchist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like look at our hero here.
Yeah.
That's not true. I'm extremely autistic and I'm not a monarchist.
We'll get you there.
Yeah. No, Bill, I think your Twitter description is a man of indecipherable politics, I believe.
Yes, I will never be deciphered.
You would never decipher.
Because if they can
Bill.
pin me down, they can beat me.
kind of
I mean,
epistemic
fair,
apathy
fair.
that you're not, you're not sufficiently driven to figure out, what's true. If we're talking about an empirical issue, you're not sufficiently driven to figure out
You're
how to
not.
have internally consistent values. If we're talking about
Nope.
a normative issue, fair enough, right? But
Yeah.
to connect the two subjects, the reason why I'm so unpersuaded by this as an argument against democracy, even beyond what I would see as the sort of in principle.
It almost sounded like he was going to say antediluvian. Did you also hear that, Bill?
I think you've just got that on the mind because you like that term.
What antediluvian?
Also, I like how that got Yarvin to perk up for exactly like 4 frames of animation, then he returned his resting bitch face.
Yeah, maybe.
Like legit, Yarvin has all the animation of a fucking Blaze Blue character.
Yeah, but come on. Sometimes Arxis is really amazing animations.
I mean, would
Not
you have one
anymore.
sitting next to that, Bill?
Oh, I think. Look, I think the
he's
entire
actually
thing.
projecting somewhere else.
That's what I mean. I think Curtis has actually left the building mentally because I think this whole time he's just been sitting here going like, "What the fuck is this guy
I'm
talking
surprised
about?"
his astral body can leave the fucking gravity well next to the fat fuck beside him. Like that pulls on the astral plane. Jesus Christ. Also, I note that what bewilders me is that fat bastard has a fucking wedding ring on. You know
Yeah.
that?
Does he?
Yeah.
How he fitted onto those fucking sausage fingers. I don't know. That's coming from me, so that's really saying something.
Oh.
I look
Speaking of
like
that-
Chumley cosplaying Rustaltsin from Total Warhammer 3, and even I think this guy is unfuckable.
It's an onion ring, so fucks.
He's got a fucking ring pop on.
Oh god, ring pop! I haven't seen those in fucking years.
Yeah, because this fat fuck, he's eating them all.
Let's put them out of business.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Oh, because for £5 says for anyone who doesn't know what an autoclave is, it's a pressured oven that is used to make carbon fiber parts. So a Boeing one can fit Ethan easy. Yeah, for sure.
Also, it's used in
dude. Holy
it's used
shit!
heavily in hospitals to sterilize gear.
Oh.
Give me a second.
Breathe.
He's not even that fat.
No, but his ego is.
Oh, his ego. Yes, his ego weighs.
That's what
a
it
ton.
is. Like he's not even like terribly fat. He
I
doesn't.
mean, because like, let's not fuck
he's just-
around.
he's
Curtis
lumpy
is
he's lumpy as shit.
Curtis is skinny fat as shit as well. Speaking as a
He's
skinny
got
fat person
like
myself.
he's got like skinny flab thing going on. But they both got guts. They're both about equivalent to each other. But Ben Bourgeois over here is so
Mhm.
fucking like. He's got a neck like a fucking like the average person's torso. He's got Chunk's physiognomy.
Yeah, he does.
Gary,
Gary,
because obviously Chunk is Turkish, and this man is obviously a Semite.
I don't know. Gary Thomas. I think they're. Why? I think he's Jewish. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
But almost everyone on the stage is a Semite of some kind.
Well, I don't know. Well, I know for a fact that Curtis's mother is Jewish, and I think Ben Burgis's family are Jewish as well. I don't really know why it matters.
Gives it away.
Outside of just saying Jew fight, which was the only meme I had to make about it. But Gary Thomas for 5 says, "Hey guys, great stream. Hey, thank you." And to me, Abby Shapiro looks like someone put olive oil's head on Jessica Rabbit's body, which works for me. I agree, Gary Thomas. I don't think she looks like olive oil. I think her face. She
kind of looks like if an ostrich was in Fritz the Cat.
Okay, I'm an olive oil. I am an Abby Shapiro stan here in terms of her appearance. I think she is. I think she is a very pretty lady, and I wish her and her husband. I just said I wish her and her husband the best of luck. They clearly are doing well.
Remember when she got like a lumpectomy and the entirety of the fucking internet thought she was
just
having a mastectomy
07.
And
by
was
the
like
way,
on DEFCON fucking 0.
07
ready
in the
to
chat.
hunt a man down and beat him to death in the street.
07 in the chat for Abby Shapiro's boobie. She had to have them reduced because she had a
There's not reduction.
Potentially cancerous.
Lumpectomy.
Yeah, but she had to have
a potentially cancerous
tumor. Yeah, which if you've got
that's not a reduction. That is an excision of potentially cancerous mass.
Still, it could. I mean, it might have harmed the perfection of Abigail Shapiro. I'm gonna have probably at some point in my life talk to Ben Shapiro, and then I hope that this doesn't, because it's a very real possibility.
If you do, I'm gonna send this to her.
I don't
Not
think
him.
she'd mind. Hey, again, I'm very happy for you, Abby. Just saying. If it ever breaks apart, hit me up. Okay, just pretending you
can get together and have literal fucking avians together.
Just pretending that if Abigail Shapiro came over and offered for the 3 of us to have a good night together, you wouldn't agree.
No, on principle.
Wow, you're lying.
Because
that's a lie.
I couldn't turn down the chance to be the person so racist. I turned that down.
What an absolute liar.
I already have the accolade of the best knowledge
rabbi?
of physiognomy. I am a qualified rabbi and a qualified imam, and I have the accolade of having the highest and most accurate physiognomy detection out of pretty much
Bill doesn't even need
anyone.
calipers. It is astonishing. Like Bill can. I don't know how you're this accurate.
I've taken on people from Stormfront.
Yeah,
the best
you have.
they did on a test was 5%. I got 96.
The legitimate racists don't have anything on you in that way.
Yeah,
like the actual Nazis, like they have no capacity to.
There were storm flags. Most of them are fake.
Well, no shit.
I defeated the federal government, which is more than can be said for your people.
Well, I wish we could all defeat the federal government. I mean, in Minecraft, of course, right? Kizza for £5 says Abby Shapiro is what some people think a very passable Ben Shapiro as a trans woman is. I mean, yeah. Have you seen the deep fake of whores in this house? Did Spoon go? Is he back?
Abigail Shapiro's jugs are larger than Ben Shapiro.
Well, yeah, they're larger than his head. They have to be.
Well, I mean, like, when you think about it logically, technically, ethically speaking, would it be okay to compare the size of Abigail
Shapiro would be like, why is everyone specializing my breasts? Me.
I would think,
Abby, can you please stop posting feet? It's fucking weird.
Did Spoon say he was going to be back in a minute? I think he did.
I hope so, because if he just fucked off and fallen asleep on the can like he normally does, I don't know what the fuck we'll do. We're barely halfway through.
No, oh my god, we're not. Let's try to fight through this.
Right that people have to govern their own lives, their own collective destinies, is that I'm
now we're thinking about self-governance.
Well, right, all of a sudden we've gone a little bit libertarian out of nowhere.
Someone called accidentally libertarian that one Twitter page, if it's still around. I don't think it even is.
Yeah, interesting. All of a sudden he goes through like a libertarian argument. Very curious.
That we could avoid that problem by empowering an elite to make these decisions because they...
Which is exactly what democracy does.
Also,
idiot.
Yeah, he's literally got...
Like, do you really have like
a... He's got the cliff notes of Yarvin's position.
Yeah. Are you seriously...
He read that fucking stupid, like, Tolkien-esque bullshit he wrote.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that was that stupid, but it was a little bit cringe.
It made it sound like a total Warhammer fan fiction. Like, I don't want to let the elves call the shots, quite frankly.
Well, okay, but excuse me, isn't that exactly what democracy does, Ben? It gives power to a minority of elites to make decisions over you. That is what an oligarchy.
I'm of a firm belief the only person who should rule against me is my axe.
That's what a democracy does, Ben. And who gets to make those decisions? It's the majority in whatever area voted for them. It is not. I mean, everyone's vote does not have equal say in determining who governs them, because it is ultimately determined by a majority.
Democracy is not the choice of the masses for their power, for who is in power. It is the choice of the mob as to who holds the axe.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is, Bill. That's exactly what it is. It is tyranny of the majority. And as I said yesterday, and I will reiterate, when you have two groups of people, which is pretty much always is in democracies where there is any even two groups fighting with each other.
It's like, because tyranny has at its root, it has a controlling aspect. What we have now doesn't. It's destruction.
It is destructive. They fight back and forth, and then they tyrannize each other perpetually. This will always be the outcome of
destruction.
It is tyranny. Kunal Lennon speaks about this, and as does Jason Brennan.
More excuses for more tearing down and destruction. It's nothing to do with actual control anymore. It's more just it doesn't need to control.
It's intergroup
because it will just obliterate everything that exists that doesn't conform.
That doesn't conform to my particular ideology. It's in the data that I have just researched. Where,
I don't even think it's about control anymore. I think it's about destruction.
It is. It's in the fucking data.
I think there is a natural entropic urge.
Yes.
In that, like, death cult these days.
All things are entropic.
All things. I think the natural conquering urge of humanity, because obviously, like, we spent most of our formative years as a civilization, as our general civilizations, conquering each other. I think that's been sublimated. I think it's been turned into a puppet of itself, a weird, horrid vestige of what it once was. And I think that has been turned into this weird entropic urge to tear each other down for no reason other than what we can get away with. And
well,
I think what the left is these days is just a fucking cult.
Yes, it is a cult.
Devoted to it.
A cult with no religion, with no God, with no morality. When you have no morality, no. It's let me read. You might
elevation of the completely amoral to position.
Yes.
To positions of more power, because it's the extremity of the action that really qualifies.
It is.
Power.
Let me read this part. Until Spoon comes back. Collective redistribution was. Oh, okay. I thought you were gone. Did you go away for a minute?
I did. Yeah, I'm going to make tea.
Okay. I'll go. Of course. let me get through this real quick. What I wanted to read. Coercive redistribution. This is Lynn and Bates, 2021. Was measured as with questions such as, quote, people questioning the redistribution of wealth should be punished, and, quote, if the wealthy try to avoid taxation, it would be permissible to use torture to reveal the money they are hiding from the poor. Communal fairness was measured with questions such as, quote, it is just as wrong to fail to help someone as it is to actively harm them or yourself. While instrumental harm was measured with questions such as, quote, it is morally right to harm an innocent person if harming them is a necessary means to helping several other innocent people. In other words, the ends justifying the means. They found in this study that communal fairness predicted support for redistribution while controlling for compassion, envy, and self-interest. And in turn, envy, compassion, and self-interest all also predicted support for redistribution of wealth independently. Advocacy for communal fairness was related to decreased odds of wishing harm upon the wealthy, but the relationship was not statistically significant. In contrast, malicious envy was significantly associated with a 64% increased preference for destroying the wealth of the rich without concern for redistribution whatsoever. Although desires for communal fairness, they just hate them. They want to torture them.
In conclusion, Arihab was right. The more I see of what you call civilization, the more highly I think of what you call savagery.
Want to, and I didn't even get into the torturing part, but it'll be in my video, which will be out in probably like 2 weeks. They just, and I'll talk about it probably a lot on Tim Pool's show tomorrow. They just want to torture and kill
people who have more than them. They don't even care if it goes to the poor when you actually ask them. And I know that the contention will be like, well, it's a Republican pretending to be a leftist. Why? Why would they have no idea what the study's going to be about when they go into it? Why would they lie? Why would they lie?
There is a bewildering fucking obsession with extremity of action that's been built up over the years. This idea that unless you are willing to do anything for no reason, that you're weak. That this the total antithesis to the concept of restraint, and of morals, and of
Oh, Tiamat, son of Tiamat. You're completely correct. Son of Tiamat says Nietzsche spoke of this, and thus spoke Zarathustra. Yes, he did. Yep, it's
Jordan Peterson spoke about this well when he read Road to Wigan Pier.
Yeah.
Where he just said like, "Oh, I understand. You just hate the rich."
It really this area of research hurt me. It did.
Because you realized that you're just dealing with fucking evil people.
No, because I have never believed that people that there were. I've always thought, oh, evil is mental illness. And I even though I've changed my opinion on that as I became a Christian again, I now see in the data, recent, modern, quantitative data, that shows some people are just evil, and the most perhaps insidious part of it is that the people who say and believe truly evil shit like that are convinced that the three of us, and surely everyone here listening, are the evil ones, and that we need to be killed and tortured for not wanting to give them money.
You know what fucks me up the most?
Yeah.
Is that I don't even think they're evil. You know what I really think?
What,
I
they're
think
stupid?
This is the natural human impulse for conquest of war and of
the spoils
of fighting against an outgroup. That the new borders aren't geographical.
They're
purely
political.
These vestigial political borders that are being drawn up and moved around at will by these just.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to call them puppeteers because that implies skill. That they are so hungry for the agoge of times gone past of some form of conflict.
Yeah,
in this
we're
completely
too happy.
muted, castrated world, that they are willing to sell themselves short in this manner.
Well, you know that's what the post-communist scholars said is why communism didn't work. Was because people were too happy in capitalism. So how do we get people to become communists? I'm talking about the Herbert Marcuses of the world, right?
The exact thing that Stalin was so adamant not infest.
Encourage children to cut their
society.
genitals off and engage in bizarre shit that ruins their lives forever. So that then
Victory
they
over the orgasm.
So then they
castration of slaves.
Yes, so that then they become so miserable. They go, "Why am I so miserable? Oh, it's because I live in a capitalist system. Because these are the people offering me some salvation, and I certainly can't look to religion because religion is for stupid people, and I'm a big smart boy." Okay, no, you're not. But
by the way, I want to see you try and get trans drugs under communism. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, well.
Or
true.
how about when if you want to kick World War III off? Good luck. Good luck with the draft, because there's already been a direct statement. If you are a trans woman, it doesn't matter. You're going into the draft.
Yeah, and by the way, have
there's
some.
no supply chain for any kind of transgenderism supporting drugs.
No.
So good luck detransitioning on the fucking front line.
I mean, and again, North Korea, in North Korea, your glorious communist utopia. Where's the transgenders?
Good luck detransitioning, fighting your Soviet utopia.
Yeah, good luck. You can't. Again, this is all people who just hate. They hate everybody. They hate everyone who has more than they do, even though if they have the most. If anyone on earth has more than them, they are driven by envy and hatred. And again, what I found was so funny when I first started reporting on this, like a month ago, I had a whole bunch of lefties tell me to kill myself. Fuck you, you bitch. Fuck you. How dare you? Fuck you. Fuck you. And it's like, okay, well, you're really, aiding on that
point, yeah.
driven by hatred and violence side. And I mean, people literally tell me to kill myself, saying I should be murdered.
Oh, one day
Or me
one
saying that
day it'll
was
all
driven
really
by
kick off.
envy and violence, and it's like, yeah, well, good job proving my point, I guess. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I mean,
Like one day
prove
it'll all
my
really
point
kick
harder.
off, and all this shit will
moron.
fall away. All this artifice will crumble like fucking like a termite mound, and they'll be left with nothing left to do but fight for themselves. And they'll realize that we're all on the same fucking page. We're on the same.
Well,
ditch
it will
looking
fall
up at
apart.
stars.
We have to understand we're always in the Aristotelian cycle of governments, and I think we are. Like, look, I hate to make this prediction because people have been saying this for the last 100 years that we're at the end of the American Empire. So I don't know. I don't know if we're at the end or if it's going to transform into something that's way
the liberal
worse.
world order is definitely dead.
I think something's got to give, right? I think we're at the point where something very soon has got to give.
You're currently in the like year of 3 emperors, I'd say.
Yeah, because
not 4 or 7, 3.
No. But I think you've
got some more crises ahead of you. I wouldn't let yourself off that easy.
Well, don't say you so much as implying that Guernsey won't be in some way involved in this as well.
Last I checked, even if that one island blows up, we're still fine.
No, I know that we'll be okay.
Also, if I want to go out and cause trouble, I know where all of my politicians live. They're all within walking distance.
I know, and I know that I don't want people to suffer.
And I can go talk to like the ex-chief minister and say, Lyndon, yo, what the fuck? And then they'll be like, okay, Bill.
It's horrifying to me because people are going to end up suffering globally, like really bad. Yeah. It must, because this is how it's always worked all throughout history. Things get really bad before they get better. And I don't know how much longer this farce. I hate to be really black-pilled. I'm always black-pilled, so I guess it's just the way I am.
Yeah, but the point is not the hard times. It's the fucking light on the horizon.
Yes, that is what we should be focused on. Things probably will get rough out of this.
What's the worst-case scenario? You die? You're welcomed back into grace? That's a fucking mercy.
Well, that part, if you accept Christ, then there's not...
I'm not even a Christ fag, and I'm okay.
I know, I know. But if you accept Jesus, then you'll be fine. Or if you are, like a Norse pagan,
I'm a big fan of Big J. I don't necessarily buy in with like the big man upstairs, but
okay. But if you're, I'm a big fan of Jesus.
I'm aiming for like the noble pagan section in purgatory. Like,
hey, but the noble pagans, if you believe in that, which as I did for many years, well, you go to Valhalla or Folkvanger. So
who knows?
If you lived a noble, honorable, brave life.
That's what I consider the important thing is like.
Then as long as you don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. Be brave. Stand up for what you believe in to a reasonable degree.
About things, and you'll do well.
And what we need
to take away
you will be rewarded in the
no matter
afterlife.
How bad things get.
No matter what you perceive your god to be, Harry Thunderer or Cosmic Muffin, to quote Fireside Theater. I think so.
As long as we can all band together and make sure that MC Chris doesn't get a new album.
What is this diss on MC Chris? Look, MC Chris is dead and he ain't ever coming back.
He'll be back. They always do.
That's the method saying the rap is whack. MC Chris is dead on arrival. Watch his rivals revel. The jealous realize the moment his opponent
you get fucking demonetized.
Stop that. Wonder of the waste. He could have been against a maggot mark on his face.
Send help.
You really are very autistic, aren't you?
Fucking nerdcore. After it made a comeback with none of the original people.
Kizza for £5 says, Aiden, my niece is the cure to your black pill, dear. She is adorable. That picture you sent me with all the spaghetti or whatever was on her face was so cute.
Live for the people close to you. Look after them. Make sure these motherfuckers can't hurt them.
This is true stuff. What Bill's saying here is absolutely true. Live for the people around you. Live for real ass people. Like, two jets. Oh right, yes.
In how you are too small for them to hurt.
Unless you live in Washington.
Use it relentlessly.
In which case, enjoy the flash.
Unless, guys, you need to kill everyone else around you.
All right. There are 3 super chats from Kizza. So use it relentlessly. His adorable niece. And if you need more, I will gladly supply it free of charge. Those pictures of her with the spagooter, the pasta sauce or whatever, are really cute. In the what do you call those? I clearly haven't had children yet. The high table, high chair. Is there a different word for that?
Did you guys not watch anything while I was away?
No, not really. Kizza also said for £5, thank you so much, Kizza. Said, so Bill, what you're saying is we need to build outer heaven to God, how did I fuck that up? I'm the Metal Gear fan here. Outer Heaven to deal with this problem in question. My empire could make it happen. Outer Heaven would make sense. Would make sense. And he also said, for another 5, to quote Orwell, The Road to Wigan Pier, they don't care for the poor. They hate of those who are richer than them. Is that actually an Orwell quote? Because I'm sure it is. I'm not familiar with that, but thank you. I'll put that in my I'll put that in my video. I'll put that in the opening because I mean that, or I'll put it somewhere in the video because I'm not familiar with that quote. Although I'm not surprised that that's
piss off
Orwell.
a lot of leftists.
I don't care. They've been pissed off about me posting about it on Twitter. You think are they gonna watch the video? No, they're gonna scream and get angry in the comments and share it on their fucking Reddit and be like,
and then you're just gonna go like, yeah, you prove my point, you dumb bastards.
I'm very upset by this video because it resembles me too much. Okay, well, then it resembles you too much because it fucking resembles you. Get the fuck over it, nerd. I can't make it
Calm
up.
down, Mickey Mouse.
You idiots said these things when scholars asked you what you thought. And this is how you responded. How is that my fault? How is that me having a political belief when you are the ones who said it? Bruh. Let's get back to this.
I'm just a number cruncher.
Yeah, I am. I'm just an accountant in the big scheme of things. You know what I mean? I don't do shit. I can't influence what you guys do. That's metaphysically absurd. Whatever, bro.
They can be plenty irrational in their own ways. Again, I think that right now we're kind of on the verge of a global thermonuclear exchange because of extreme elite irrationality.
You really didn't answer that question. But okay. Ben did not really answer that question. I know that we paused for a really long time. But he just said people can be irrational, but it's still that we should still just have people have more power, even though they're completely irrational and can cause thermonuclear war because of their irrationality via democracy. So what was the answer, Ben? But why is it better even if that's the case? You didn't answer that part of the question. So, all right, dipshit.
I would say that is I think that there are plenty of people in power, and that's like even the powerful have a disinterest in reality, and that's why you can't even, border. I don't necessarily think we're that close to that, but also I think a lot of that has to do with their disinterest in engaging with reality because it might.
I'm having a hard time understanding her.
Than, just a chill life or whatever.
Yeah. So
is Russell going to reiterate? No.
So part of what you said is that people have. That it shows that they too are disinterested in reality, and fair enough, right? But if we agree there's irrationality all around, then what I need to hear next is a really good reason for thinking that elite irrationality is less worrying than popular irrationality, and then I think, might have at least the beginnings of an anti-democratic argument.
Well, I think that there's, fortunately, if you're looking at, it's good because I feel like
elite irrationality. Hang on, elite irrationality is less likely than mob irrationality. Not only because we have 100 years of social science research that shows that mobs think irrationally, okay, do not think. Whenever you get a mob of people together, they do the most insane, incomprehensible shit. They consistently do it. They act anti-humanistically. They act anti-empathetically in every single case when you have a pseudo-anonymous or anonymous mob.
There's literally a Terry Pratchett quotation, and if Terry Pratchett's cottoned onto it, it's usually a good
yes, that's very true.
A mob's IQ is equal to the lowest IQ in the group divided amongst the number.
Yes. Well, even though Terry Pratchett is using a meme or colloquialism there, but he's not incorrect as it applies to the data. The data on mob mentality and mob rule is very consistent on that. Mobs are terrible at making decisions. Mobs make decisions based on emotionality and temporary emotionality, which is exacerbated by anonymity or pseudo-anonymity, as studied by Philip Zimbardo in his research. Now, we know the Stanford Prison Experiment. It was a largely bullshit experiment, but that's his 1971 study. His 1969 study, which was the bag experiment, where people had bags over their heads, finds that people will do absolutely vile, disgusting things as long as they think that they're anonymous, which inherently is the case when you're within a mob. People will do the most violent, disgusting, inhumane things to one another when they think they can't be identified. Well, what is voting if not that? Is there any other answer?
Yeah.
No, there isn't one.
voting democracy is all a manifestation of mob justice and mob rule and mob violence, and it always will be.
And if you want to see how a large group of anonymous people treats each other, look up the corrupted blood plague incident.
So there's actually published research on corrupted blood plague.
I know. Set up.
Okay.
Like...
Thank you, Bill. So in World of Warcraft, a while ago, there was, years and years ago, there was a thing that was put into the game called the corrupted blood plague. And if one player character got it, then they could transfer it via mere vicinity to another player character. And it basically like just sapped your health over time, I believe. It's been a couple years since I've read about this.
For a high level character, it was fairly new. It was
not,
fairly
yeah, it didn't mean
damage.
Anything. Right. Because it's like one
low level
tick
characters, it was instant death.
Devastating. Yes. So it's pretty much devastating for low level characters. It meant very little to the high level characters. So what did people do? They went and took a high level character, they dropped it off in a low level city and just left it there and intentionally spread the plague just to fuck with people.
It wasn't just that. It was people realized that if you had a pet.
Yes, your pet, you could have a pet to do it.
It
yes.
would maintain it.
Right.
And furthermore, if you teleported someone out of the boss fight into a city, it would spread.
Yes, Hasselhoff, but this is actually in World of Warcraft, not in Minecraft, in quotes in Minecraft. This was a real thing that happened in World of Warcraft. People were more than happy to do this, completely fuck with new players or people with low-level characters, just because they could, because of the pseudo-anonymity that is inherent.
Blanketed in skeletons.
Yes,
and I believe they use this data as an excuse to fuck with people during the pandemic, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Mia Consalvo's data, although I could be incorrect. Let's see. Let me go to Scholar real quick. The WoW Blood Plague. I think it's Mia Consalvo who has the large World of Warcraft. It's in a book too. There's a whole book that deals with it. Corrupted Blood Plague documentation and collection. This is J. Smith. Oh, it was also published in... actually, Lancet, I think, published a study on it. It was in some of the biggest medical journals in the world, the research on the corrupted blood plague, because it was a simulation of how disease spreads and how people would intentionally spread disease, which is the more horrifying part, right? But I don't have this off the top of my head anymore. It used to be in there. It's not in there right now. But if you're interested in pandemics, and as they also apply to pseudo-anonymity and the violence and the disgusting behavior that can be engaged in what's called toxic disinhibition as a product of pseudo-anonymity, the WoW Corrupted Blood Plague documentation research, of which there is a multitude and plenty, is certainly a fascinating deep dive. I'd love to do a video on it sometime, but it's so like out of date, you know. I don't know if anyone would be interested. But there's so much on it. Yeah, there was even stuff in Lancet, I believe. It was a huge natural experiment.
Yep.
Anywho, sorry, I get so excited about data. Gary Thomas for 5 says, the best example of mob rule I experienced recently is reading a book about the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Good Lord, talk about nightmare fuel. Yeah. It's horrifying. And Minnesota Fats for 5 says, sorry to derail the stream, boss. No problem. I do that all on my own. I found the most tone-deaf headline. Quote, Ubisoft and Riot Games join forces to tackle harmful content in game chats. Well, good luck.
Wow, way to kill your fucking audience, you tone-deaf.
Right.
That fucks.
Yeah, tone-deaf.
Get out that fucking Deca driver. Slap that fucking Xbox 360 gold card in.
Do you people realize that the most entertaining thing of your game is the fucking the intro screen, basically? Like the whatchamacallit, the fucking opening room before people go into a game.
Oh yeah, the title screen, yeah.
Yeah, no. There's
the pre-game lobby.
Yeah, that's
the lobby.
That's the lobby room. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the best part. If you remove that, you know how much more boring your games would be?
I regret to inform motherfuckers that the really hideous like Scorpio killer looking FTX guy, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
And Caroline Ellison, that
Riot
fucking
Games.
like soy
I knew what you meant,
elemental.
Minnesota. Whoops.
I regret to inform you that a disgruntled employee is leading their sex tape.
Oh wow. Not at all shocked by that.
This
also,
is a psyop to destroy
Yeah.
sexuality at large.
Yeah.
Do not watch it.
Hasselhoff
Don't
over
use
10
it
says
as me.
people did
Not the
all
sex
sorts
tape,
of
it's the
trolls in
story.
WoW. People did all sorts of trolls in WoW. My first several days, there were dragons invading Orgrimmar, and I thought it was normal. Turns out, someone was kiting mobs into several zones. EverQuest had that too. It was the same thing in Final Fantasy XI. When I joined Final Fantasy XI, when I was 11 years old, I've told Bill this story, but Final Fantasy XI is like, I think of these games, maybe the smallest in the US.
Oh yeah, when you used to kite that Treant mob.
Well, it only existed for Christmas. It was for
Merry
Final Fantasy-
Christmas! Here's
Oh my
a
God.
murder tree
So,
in
yeah.
your starting area.
This is
Lineage 2 had
unbelievable.
that problem at
Yes.
every iteration of the game.
Doom
People
Lord
would get a
Kazakh into
massive
Stormwind.
fuck train of mobs together,
Fucking believable.
despawn, and it would dump an enormous amount of aggro into the surrounding area.
Yes, Final
and
Fantasy
turn this-
11, I think, came out in like August of 2001, something like that. I think it came out in the fall or late summer of 2001. I got it for Christmas in 2001, so it had been out in the United States for like 4 or 5 months. And obviously it was a game that people were going to get for Christmas. And when they put the game out in the Western servers, which again had only been around for like at best half a year, they put this mob in. It's called an HNM, no, just an NM, so a notorious monster, in the opening zones for people who were level 1 to 5 for the most part, and it was called the Twinkling Treant. It was a big, giant walking Christmas tree, and it was level 90, and it had an AOE. So I remember, like, I just booted up the game, and I was like, oh, I'll walk out into the field and go level up. And I was like, oh, there's like 80 people here fighting the tree, fighting a Christmas tree. And it just AoEs, and then half of the screen goes, it's just everyone dies. Because it's all these, like, I'm a level 1 white mage, and I'm just like, I'll help you.
Death.
As an 11-year-old girl.
They had that in World of Warcraft too. People used to get the world bosses, like the demons
Right
and the nightmare
outside the
dragons,
opening zone.
in like late. It was like
Oh,
late
it's fun.
first like batch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft. They used to train them into like fucking Stormwind and shit.
Yeah.
And it would just be a
Doom
fucking
Lord
massive-
Kazakh
it'd be
and
like-
Blasted Lance.
Yeah, like just
Yeah.
bodies blanked in the ground. Same with the Blood Plague.
Oh,
Also,
from,
I also
Hakar.
regret to
There's
inform
a,
people that
Yeah.
now Bethesda is
Look on
calling
that.
out
Let me
Mick
find out
Gordon
real
having a massive row on Twitter in the open, like a bunch of pricks.
I mean, let
Oh
me
my
find
god,
the book
yes,
on it.
because I so want to see
you know,
that. Also teleport every leftist into the Modern Warfare 2 lobby as an experiment to see how they would handle freedom of speech. Oh my god, yes, that'll be fun.
Nah, fuck that
I just-
shit.
I literally
Bring them
just
to
threw
a
this book away.
PlanetSide 2 server and see how it goes.
Oh my god! When I was at my dad's house and I had to throw away all my old books, I literally just throw this book away on the WoW research.
Which, the Blood Plague?
Yeah, that had the blood plague study in it.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
Hakar,
And
yeah.
Aiden's like dissertation was on the Blood Plague.
No, it wasn't. My dissertation was not on the blood plague. My dissertation was
It
on
was.
on
You studied the Blood
no,
Plague.
one of
correct?
the my graduate dissertation was on WoW, but it was on it was called For the Horde or For the Alliance. It was about social identity theory in WoW. And then my doctoral dissertation was on
Was it pre or
social
post
identity
Burning
theory
Crusade?
in Fallout New Vegas. Using
Was
Fallout
it
New Vegas as an
Was
as
it
a,
pre
as
or
a
post Burning Crusade? Because I can tell you this much:
it was way after
the,
Burning Crusade. Way after Burning Crusade.
the elves were not well liked,
I wasn't an elf. I was undead.
as you should be.
Yeah, my advisor was like, "Oh, you have to play WoW with us because we're doing research on it." And she loved WoW. Was doing. I know.
Sounds so nefarious.
No, we were doing. But that's the thing. Also, is that she was like, "Well, people aren't going to want to answer your."
Welcome to college. I hope you got a WoW account. Otherwise,
No,
you're fucked.
okay, it's not welcome to college. It's welcome to graduate school. Excuse me, it's welcome to doctoral school where we're doing a very specific thing.
Here it is. A digital culture, play, identity, a World of Warcraft reader. This is it. It's Hilda Corneliusson. This book, yes, digital culture, play, and identity, a World of Warcraft reader by Hilda Corneliusson and Jill Walker Redberg. That's the book.
I now want to see like a study on motherfuckers who played Adventure Quest.
I know, but
like classic RuneScape.
Like, this has got to be, how pathetic is this actually that I've read all this shit and I have
not even like membership classic RuneScape, like regular free mode.
Here's the citation here, guys. Excuse me, I said it was like the Lancet. It's the MIT Press, so it wasn't quite as prestigious. The Blood Plague article, which is not, this is described in this, but the Blood Plague article was in the Lancet, was published in the Lancet. The one that I'm thinking of. There's probably several of them. I know there's several of them. Because for £5, I'd love to teleport every leftist into a Modern Warfare 2 lobby as experiments to see how they handle freedom of speech. Any questions? Yep, in Modern Warfare 2. There you go.
I'm just imagining, finally, I'll get my doctoral thesis done. And all you hear is, live to win!
Sleepy Shadow, I was only a white mage as my first class. I then switched to Bard, the one which is, and then I became a paladin. No, stop calling me a bottom. That's why
bottom behavior.
I'm even named Paladin because my last job before I quit was a Paladin.
You should be like me and be a Dragoon so you can floor tank.
Dude, Dragoons sucked in FF11 when it came out.
It sucks now.
No, they're 2 hour. They fixed their 2 hour.
FF14 in Dragoons fucking suck.
All right, well, they fixed their 2 hour in 11.
You're not playing the game properly into your suffering.
Trying to finish this fucking Kurdish Yarvin thing that we've now been on for 2 days.
Whose fault is that?
You.
I see how it is. I'm brought into this chat as a fucking scapegoat.
Spoon, you still here?
Yep, I'm in.
I think.
Okay, let's go back to Curtis.
He's awake.
Sorry,
it's a Christmas miracle.
He's awake. Yay!
I've been here the whole time I'm listening to this.
Spoon's not asleep. Yay! Let's all clap.
Take off, you patronizing
We got like
siding with the South African.
No.
Well, I've never met a nice South African. And that's probably surprising, man, because they're a bunch of ignorant loudmouths with no sense of humor.
Well, I mean, it's against an American. It's kind of.
Bruh, you can't team up against me. That's not fair.
Silence.
Because I feel like we've sort of arrived at some common ground in a way where we've basically admitted that there are sources of oligarchic elite error, as you say, and like I really like this skepticism of the Ukraine thing because, as far as I'm aware, your skepticism of the Ukraine thing is not really aligned with any particular movement or any particular authority. I think it's just your own personal opinion, and I think that's like, and it's out of step with what.
Well, hey, good for Curtis for recognizing that.
You can see Ben like a.
He's terrified. He's now terrified that Curtis has recognized that, oh, you're not lockstep in line with all leftist beliefs. And you can see his discomfort.
He successfully baited Bourgeois into a fucking trap here.
And now he's going to have... I haven't seen this. So I'm guessing, Spoon, that he has to now explain how he actually is lockstep with all of the left.
Not exactly.
All right, let's see what he says.
The beliefs I have line up with what the New York Times thinks.
And yeah, they're normally to the left of them, I would expect, but this one is not because you're basically more pro-Putin than the average American.
Well,
and
I would push back against the.
Let's not descend into the weeds. Let's get to a point of agreement.
That makes you pro.
No, he can't. You can't agree. He can't agree with you. He hates you, my dude. This is the problem.
He's trying so hard not to agree because he's like, oh fuck, I've been baited into this.
Yes,
I'm fucked.
But it's true. It probably is true. I don't know what Ben Burgis' opinion is on the Ukraine thing. I really don't. But I assume that it's not let's nuke Russia because I mean that's the leftist position. So if it's not, if it's something that Curtis agrees with, I would assume it's something, I don't know, more reasonable than let's just nuke Russia, which is the leftist position.
You know what really depressed me about this shit? I think I might have mentioned it before, but what depressed me about the Ukraine-Russia shit is that...
Oh, by the way, it's not just, it's also the leftist position, just real quick, it's the leftist position and the right-wing position and the center's position. Yeah. It's just that it's the political rube.
The political stasis of we would like to not be reduced to atoms, but
no, let's nuke Russia is
I have an IQ under 85 position. Okay.
In any case, here's my premise. If you went to the Ukraine and you went to Russia and you said, pick one person, fight 1v1 in Chernobyl, both sides would be down to clown.
Oh, for sure.
Both would find the biggest, most backed up weirdo motherfucker mutant that they had.
Yeah.
And dump them in there.
And they both got him.
And they'd be like dual-wielding meat cleavers and shit. It would be a fucking mass. It would be a bloodbath.
Yeah. Look, I've seen. Okay, how about this? How about we make this the rules? I've seen a whole bunch of the way that there's some weird Slavs in both Ukraine and Russia. Why don't they just pick their like top 10 or top 20 like Pokemon teams of the weirdest Slavs they can find and have
five
them
aside, your weirdest mutants you have, and watch it be 5 Estonians versus 5 Estonians.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. It'll be Estonia versus Estonia, and
maybe a Latvian or two, one Lithuanian.
I would love it. Pick your strangest fighters.
One Georgian dude who's really into hockey.
Kizza for £5 says, Bill has made me think of Make Love Not Warcraft, and every time I hear Bard, I always think of FF4. Hey, Spoony Bard, which is where
we're back to fucking Curtis Yarvin.
Back to Curtis.
That's where Spoony gets his name from. Is the Spoony Bard name?
The Spoony Bard. Tella. Seto Kaiba is the executioner of dragoons. Yeah, but yeah.
I must concede this match.
I must concede this point.
Oh, that one fucking tournament where someone made an entire deck of nothing but like degenerate like, waifu bait characters.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
And got to the finals and had to fight Seto Kaiba's voice actor as with the deck name Sneed. And they were just exchanging Sneed memes. Oh, it was
amazing. I think it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Continue.
I hope it goes down in history.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. That was unfair. That was unfair.
I don't think being against
everyone's union now.
Like it really wasn't unfair. It's that you got
Yarvin is taking control of the situation by like okay.
Has gone above 1. Like the first time in this whole discussion that he has awoken from his autistic slumber to laugh at the fact that this guy got triggered, basically.
Like,
which is pretty funny.
Talking about autism, but it's people saying like it makes it so you can't like connect to people, but nothing forces you to get a sense of humor quite like fucking autism.
Yeah,
as long as you're a bloke, of course. Autistic females can't make jokes.
No.
Who writes your jokes again? Who writes your jokes?
You do.
Shut the fuck up.
The war to rock.
That was an unfair jab, and I retract the remark. I want to say that basically, when we look at these two systems or forms of power, one of them which we could call oligarchical progressivism, and the other one of which we could call democratic populism, we agree that there are significant structural flaws with both of these ways of governing mankind. And that's why it's so unfortunate that there are only 2 possible systems of government, democracy and oligarchy.
No, for sure. As you point out, labor unions that could actually protect people's free speech rights actually.
Oh my god! Ben doesn't even understand the meme. He didn't even get it.
His only willing response is like, "Oh, you dirty bastard." All he had to say is like, "Oh, you dirty fucker."
Anyone who had an IQ above room temperature would be like, "Ahaha, very funny, Curtis." But Ben just
there's no joviality. There's no banter whatsoever.
No, he doesn't even realize that Curtis just made fun of him. He doesn't have the intelligence to even pick up that Curtis just said there's only 2 forms of government: your glorious people's democracy and oligarchy, even though democracy can be oligarchic, which has been thoroughly explicated earlier in this debate. But oh my god,
of like it would actually there's no losing move for just assuming the other person is taking a stance as a joke. Because either they are joking or they're not.
But it was an
and
obvious...
if they're not joking, then you portray it as laughable.
Yeah, but that was an obvious and overt joke.
He's like got his little tongue through his mouth.
Dude, Ben is not capable of understanding the joke because he lacks the political acumen to be able to understand why that is a joke. He literally does not have the political acumen to be able to understand the joke that Curtis Yarvin just made. Jesus Christ.
We're watching Yarvin just run rings around him at this point. Ben is a fucking, like, at this point, gigaboomer. And the poor ref is like going like, looking at him, just like, oh, bruh, he was joking. What the fuck are you doing? Bruh.
Hasselhappa Her 5 says Russia must issue a Bachal? I don't know what that means.
You dare deny my Bachal?
What does it mean, Bill?
A Bachal is a battle challenge. It's a portmanteau.
A Bachal...
if they just brought out, like, the Russian-Ukrainian battle mechs and they're just, it's two, like, ladders with guns attached.
Prepare your forces and have at it. Yeah, is Spoon still here? Sorry if I always talk too much, but Spoon often just goes to sleep during the middle of a stream.
He may have died.
Case in point. So I end up talking because Spoon often goes to sleep. Let's finish this then.
We'll give them a living wage, etc., and actually are starting to have many of these benefits for people who organize them now. That's anachronistic. We need to go with cutting-edge new ideas like monarchy.
Okay, absolutely. All right, right here in the front.
Well, at least he fired back with a bit of a joke. You know, it wasn't exactly funny, but it was.
It was just
cunty.
I'm sure to him it was.
It was an attempt. You got to give it some shit.
But he didn't understand that Curtis had made a joke, so he just fired back as a bitch with a bitch move, while not understanding that Curtis had even made a joke in the first place.
I appreciate that he at least had some sarcasm. However, it did backfire on him terribly.
Yes. Yeah.
Right here in the front.
And I like how the referee here is aging.
Okay. For you, Ben, you talked earlier about universal basic income, and you were talking about how if you work for an employer, your free speech rights are restricted. Certainly true, you can't say anything sometimes, and whatever you want. Sometimes you have to say exactly what they say in particular job circumstances. But then you overlay the intersection of UBI and democracy, and you start giving everybody money. There's no world that I conceive of, and I don't think this is just a lack of imagination. I think this is human nature, where those people who are controlling that money are not also controlling behavior. And maybe that's being done democratically. It's democratic, but just like the
good question.
Who ultimately wanted something for their money, the government or whoever is controlling that money is going to want something out of those people. If this was a year ago and we had UBI, you would not be able to get it if you were unvaccinated.
You see Curtis looked at him.
Spicy.
Curtis fucking looked at him. Yep, that you wouldn't be able to get access to the UBI that you're demanding, which he is in favor of UBI. You wouldn't be able to get that if the government were to impose some social rule that you believe is good for the people, but you've taken their money from them, such as universal basic income. But if they weren't a part of
the stim checks would have been, one, they wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
They would have been the UBI checks.
Well, you might have gotten the stim checks, but only if you were vaccinated. Taking money from those who go along with government coercion and redistribute it to those who do.
Meanwhile, taxing them out of existence and finding them out of existence because they are trying to run their businesses outside that system.
It's a very real possibility right now. That is a good question for someone to ask. So let's hear what Ben has to say. I hope Spoon comes back. He's probably he's either asleep or he's drinking tea.
I'm going for some more tea.
Yeah.
Feelings at the time against any particular ideology. Those people are going to be shut out.
Super chat.
Well, this is very testable.
Whisper.
Yeah.
They will be shut out. Democracy will work against truly UBI. So how do those swear?
You're really good at restating their question.
Sure. Sure. So the question was,
Actually, he's really not good at restating the question, but let's see how Ben manages to restate that question that we actually could hear and understand. So,
going back, and I'm not sure when people are actually watching or listening to this if they'll have all seen our previous discussion. So earlier during my solo with Thad, he was talking about his aunt who gave him these like very generous gifts of money when he was like, whatever, starting when he was like 12 or 13 or something, and he'd get like $100 gift from his aunt, and he was excited about it, but then like he'd kind of have to pick up the phone when his aunt called, and then she'd start like objecting to his behavior, and you should be smoking weed and all that, right? So
yeah,
is this a good metaphor for a more expansive welfare state, essentially, the kinds of universal social programs that I would support? And the questioner connected that discussion up specifically with whether if we had UBI, then that would be. That would be changed to
he can't explain the question, can he?
Non-universal basic income. There would be.
No. Ben, talk about his specific question about could you be denied UBI if you didn't go along with government mandated bullshit like vaccination. Talk about that part, Ben. Stop ignoring. Stop obfuscating. Stop changing the fucking topic.
Conditions.
In the context, especially of democracy, and not a strong man who could like hold the.
Yeah, the strong man would actually be able to impose conditions. It'd be much harder for democratically elected politicians to, and I can explain why in a second. But
can you? Because it happened in Australia. It happens in Canada. So why is it happening in the most greatest of all, democratic systems, Australia and Canada? I mean, of the democratic systems, they are amongst those shining cities on the hill that we're supposed to pay so much attention to. Australia and Canada. And yet they've removed people's personal individual liberties because they refused to take an experimental vaccine. So, answer that question, Ben.
But so the suggestion from the questioner, again, just for people watching or listening later, was that specifically last year you would have been denied it if you weren't vaccinated. Now, I'd point out a couple things about this because I think it's much better when there is empirical evidence that's available to go with that instead of just speculating about what sounds to us like what would happen. So Alaska, for example, actually does have a small UBI, the Alaska Permanent Fund, which is a just bizarrely socialistic thing that exists in Alaska of all places, from their oil drilling that everybody gets sent a check. Far as I know, if there are Alaskans here who can correct me, that was not conditioned on vaccination last year. Now, you could say, well, maybe that's Alaska. Maybe that's because of the politics of the state. So now we can start to ask questions about other countries that have various sorts of universal state provision of services. Were Canadians who didn't? Sure. No, go for it. Just keep in mind before you say this that I'm going to have to repeat it before I respond to it because people are not going to hear.
Okay. Well, before this happens, I just wanted to say that Son Matt did ask me to say a chat that I did miss yesterday, which was that he said one thing about Yarvin that bugs me is that he repeats the leftist lie that fascists and the National Social Democratic, the NSDAP in Germany were somehow right wing. Why does he do this? I don't know. I think probably because it's an acceptable political position to have, is to be a little bit iffy on history as it refers to the Nazis, because you have to say that they were certain things, because otherwise you're a Holocaust denying fascist evil person, so you can't tell the truth about certain things. I'm not when I say that I don't mean like, oh, there weren't any there weren't any Holocaust. I'm not saying that kind of stuff. I'm saying, but like it gets all lumped in together with people who say insane conspiracy theories about the Holocaust. So I think Curtis probably is trying to avoid any association with Holocaust denialism. That would be my belief there, Son of Tiamat. I don't know if that's correct. I guess we could ask Curtis if we get him on at some point. Spoon, are you there?
Yep, I'm right here.
Holy shit, thank God.
He's alive!
He's alive.
Yeah. I'm just listening to you.
No, all right, okay. I'm gonna smoke
We were
real quick.
mentioning you earlier, and you wouldn't. You weren't saying
This is the
bullshit.
thing. He goes and takes naps. He takes little naps. He goes for
Shush.
sleepies. He takes little sleepies.
Shh.
You talk to Bill. Bill, say something that will make Spoon laugh enough to keep him up.
Maybe he
for a
didn't
minute.
wander off halfway through a fucking stream
Right,
to go
right.
hang upside down from the ceiling like a fucking bat and take a nap.
Is that what South Africans do?
I don't know.
Is that? I mean, Bill, you're the racial.
You're trying to say they were all cave creatures.
Yes.
I'll be right back. Hang
We're
on, my
farmers.
house.
We
No,
actually
I
go
wouldn't do. I wouldn't
outside
do
and,
that
like,
because I wouldn't
threaten
insinuate
vampires.
that The Descent's a good film. It's fucking trash.
Play the video, you nerds.
You know what she was gonna say, people at home. Judge her.
Hear you.
Okay, so I'm one of those people who moved from Canada to Florida, to the glorious Republic of Florida 2 years ago, in very large part to get away from what was happening there with the COVID lockdowns and whatnot. And there was the denial of medical service to the unvaccinated and a lot of other stuff that went around with it. So the popular will there was way, way, way more aligned with the pro-vax thing than it was in the US. And what you saw was that manifested itself specifically in policy and in denial of service to certain people under certain conditions. Everything from directly from operations not being done to people who weren't able to visit their loved ones in the hospital because they weren't vaccinated.
Yeah, so there are two very different things that are being grouped together there, and I think it's important to make a distinction. So what the questioner said when he came back in is that he's from Canada, and he moved to Florida because he doesn't like the COVID policies in Canada, and there was a claim about denial of medical services, and there was a claim about people not being able to visit hospitals because that was seen or claimed to be whatever unsafe because of concern about the spread of COVID, was specifically when they were unvaccinated. That was the question, and I would say that I think we'd have to have a bigger discussion about this, but certainly one thing that and please just correct me briefly, right? So I don't have to repeat a bunch of stuff if I'm wrong about this, right? But it's not the case that there was a law passed in Canada saying you're no longer eligible for Canadian Medicare in general if you're not vaccinated. I think what you're talking about are specific policy, specific hospitals saying, we've made a determination that it's not safe to do this at this time because it's not medically urgent and there's this risk that goes with it, because we're concerned about the spread of COVID, which is a very different thing. And then really to connect it back up with Thad's Thad's aunt, and the larger issue about welfare states and personal freedom. If you have a private hospital that is especially in a more laissez-faire environment, less regulation, man, they could go way further in that direction if they wanted to. And there's a reason why you're not getting that law saying oh no, Canadian Medicare is no longer universal. This social insurance only applies to people who've been vaccinated, because even in a context where those COVID policies you don't like were actually fairly popular, in the broad mass of Canadians, including, by the way, the majority of Canadian truck drivers. But even in that context, that would have been wildly unpopular. It would have been really hard to get away with that because of the level of popular opposition that provokes, because once you've got those universal programs in place, as people with other politics may bemoan, it's really, really, really hard politically to take them away, which I would celebrate. And I just say, look, if you're worried that that if we had the America Permanent Fund instead of the Alaska Permanent Fund, that would be made contingent, I would just point out how much harder it is to change a well-established social program and end its universality. How much harder that is than your boss just saying, you know what, I'm sick of you, you're fired. So if you're worried about Thad's aunt, private employers, private charity, private sources of funds are going to be a way bigger concern about depending on people's whims and how they can, give and take away than things that you get as a universal right of citizenship.
So can I interject a little? Sorry.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
So there's always this equation that I see in your reasoning about democracy, and especially democracy and bureaucracy, that it always seems that the things that you like are democratic and the things that you dislike aren't. And so when we look at these specific kinds of policies
the medical
in
services
Canada, you're absolutely right that these policies are not carried out by these sort of symbolic elected arms anymore. Oh no, they're done by permanent commissions. And they're done nationally by permanent commissions. And so the question of basically what sort of the kind of we must enforce vaccination kind of hysteria over the last year or two is, I think, very interesting, because it certainly didn't come from popular enthusiasm. It became a popular enthusiasm in some quarters. It became a popular enthusiasm in quarters that are basically very NPR listening quarters, you might say. And the way in which basically that side of the, do you remember the amazing flip in like public versus elite opinion about COVID that happened in February 2020?
No.
Do you remember how in like basically through all of February, the message was like, what you really should be worrying about is the flu. Don't be a bigot. Go to Chinatown and lick doorknobs. Yes. And then Donald Trump, Trump, changed his mind and was like,
you need to read more leftists. You'd be surprised how many people are pointing that out. Just like with the Ukraine, you'd be surprised by how many leftists think that.
Yeah. And you can point that out. The meaning of that is sort of kind of extremely dark and disturbing in a way, because basically this policy effectively was left up to the whims of Donald Trump. Because if Donald Trump had come out and instead of saying, oh no, if COVID is real, the stock market will go down and I won't get reelected, if he'd instead come out and said, General Jack D. Ripper style, we must preserve America's precious bodily fluids, you can guarantee that American elite opinion would have followed basically the Swedish path. And I think that and it's remarkable even that Sweden's own bureaucracy followed a path that was out of step with basically global elite opinion. That was remarkable. And sort of, kind of an interesting case of sort of the exception that proves the rule in some ways. But the whole world, just like they went mad for George Floyd, went basically mad for let's take the anti-Donald Trump position in early March of 2020. And I think that there are, in some ways cases to be made for both perspectives. I'm kind of a COVID moderate, which I know is very unusual in this group. But I think the dynamics of where that elite opinion came from tell us a lot about basically the flaws in essentially elite governance. And I think that agreeing with you that there are really systemic flaws in elite governance, and there are really systemic flaws in like unfettered, uncontrolled, unmanaged.
Am I coming through?
Yeah. What?
Yeah. One thing that came up, which was from personal experience, which was this. Over here, at least, I can't speak for other jurisdictions. We were pretty much free of COVID, bar a few cases in the very early days.
Yeah.
And then they brought in new doctors.
Yep.
And the doctors went from ward to ward. And they spread COVID like typhoid Mary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody
and by the way,
spread
that
masks, fucking disease quite like doctors did.
No, and while they were wearing masks, which we knew before this shit all happened, the efficacy of those cloth masks is near nil. What it does is it prevents you from spilling like actual secretions from your face into an open wound. That's why surgeons wear them. They do not prevent the spread of a virus that you are carrying into somebody else. The size of the virus.
Minimum N95 respirator, not mask,
minimum
respirator.
Yes, a respirator, because those cloth masks, the size of the virus is about 10 times smaller than the size of the cloth masks. We know this now. By the way, we knew it 3 years ago, but we were told lies. We were told absolute lies.
The N95s were really unreliable in that. time period because bootlegs were on the market.
Yep.
But these idiots went out to the ice. I was on site.
Yeah, I was in the hospital when COVID started.
He was in hospital at the time that COVID started.
Yeah.
I watched it spread from fucking ward to ward until I was eventually told I had to visit Aiden from 20 feet away in the parking lot.
Yes, literally.
And then after that one time that worked, I wasn't allowed on the premises at all.
No, yeah, people don't know this. We never talked about this, but literally the only way I was in, what had happened to me is that I got sick. I got COVID. Bill and I both got COVID. And then afterwards, I couldn't really eat. I didn't eat for about 3 months. And I got really, really low weight.
We got it really early because one of them at work, we had someone come in from Shanghai.
A person come over from Shanghai who had COVID before.
Bad.
Yeah, we got the first original strain of it. We got the worst case version of it. And I didn't basically eat for, actually it wasn't 3 months. It was closer to 6 months. I couldn't eat anything. I got down to about 60. I was already low weight. And then I got down to like 60, 70 pounds. My heart was fucked up. I was dying. I was going to die. So I had to go to the hospital. And I was in the hospital for 3 months as I tried to get my weight back up. And so I wouldn't die. And yeah, that was during the height of the original COVID pandemic. Literally, they told Bill if he wanted to see me, he had to stand outside the window outside my room. And that was the only way he'd be allowed to see me. And then that was too dangerous. He couldn't even be on the premises of the hospital.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? Well, we know it makes no sense because it's always been nonsense. It's always been bullshit. But this is not about actual health. This is about social beliefs and social behaviors. That's what's going on here. And it's always going on here.
Meanwhile, the doctors with the disease were going from ward to ward to ward.
Yes.
Spreading it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't even have the hospital was free of it until doctors with it came in and went from ward to ward, turning those places filled to bursting with the elderly into charnel houses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the United States,
people wonder why charnel houses feature so fucking like prominently in my D&D campaigns. It's because I've experienced it.
Well, I mean, that was the worst. That was the worst time of my life, right? And when you weigh 60, 70 pounds, one of the things that happens is your brain doesn't work anymore. So I was having hallucinations and stuff. But I couldn't even see Bill. And that made it. I luckily, most of that has been expunged from my memory. But I can remember the feelings. I can't remember the things that actually happened very well, but I can remember the feelings I had. And it was horrible that I only had one person on the whole island who could come and see me, who is Bill, and he couldn't come and see me. He couldn't even come and see me from outside of my window. Why? How tall am I? I'm 5'7". But yeah, it was fucked up, man. It was all fucked up. And I got over it. They did say they told Bill I'd be brain dead forever. I mean, I am brain dead, but I got over some of it. Yeah, it was a nightmare. It was a total nightmare. Even just thinking about it, I don't even want to think about it because it was the worst experience of my life. And that's what it was like. That's what I was. Now, it was exacerbated. If it had been any other time in human history, well, in the last 50 years, it wouldn't have been that I couldn't have seen Bill, and I wouldn't have had to have sat alone in a hospital while listening to, by the way, old women screaming all around me, who were being mistreated by the fucking NHS. We're supposed to worship.
We didn't have the NHS.
Well, you know what I mean.
It was it was NHS alumni staff.
Yeah, and it was. I listened to them and watched them torture old Guernsey women. They were screaming, and these women would laugh. They did it to me too. Where I had no muscle, I couldn't walk, I couldn't move, and they would just like shove me around. And when I would cry, they thought it was funny. These women, none of them were from England, none of them from Guernsey. They're all from like Barbados, by the way. They're not locals. Sorry, again, I'm saying that Sean, that hot fuzz thing, you know, but none of them were local. So, and I'm not local, but I'm married to a local, so they didn't care. Why would they care? They're gonna. I mean, the women who were decent to me were from Ireland and Scotland. Not women from
our mutual
Barbados
hatred of the English.
The nation
and
of alcoholics.
Jamaica, and they would just look what they
Guernsey
did
folk
to
are
me.
proud alcoholics.
Yeah, what they did to
we
me.
can drink any Irishman at the table.
What they did to me was shitty, but it was nothing compared to what I heard old women who were like 80, 90 years old screaming all hours of the day, every single day for 3 fucking months as they abused them and then would go over to their nurse desk up the like right up the hall and they'd laugh about it. Oh, she getting real upset today, isn't she? About like some old woman that they just made cry and she's sitting over there sobbing right across the hall from me. And I have to hear this 90-year-old woman sobbing because they just abused the shit out of her. Welcome to the lovely system of socialized medicine. So when I hear people also say that shit, like, oh, socialized medicine's so great. Is it?
Yeah, this is what happens.
Have you lived through
it? The best thing
it?
is, Guernsey folk don't get the social end of that thing. We don't get it for free.
No.
We need to pay for it.
You have to pay for it. You don't
English
get it.
folk who come over here so they can dump their parents here to rot, they get paid for by the
Let's be
NHS.
clear about that. Guernsey's average age, I think, is something like 50 or 60.
No,
Yeah.
it's pushing 70.
It's pushing 70. Wow.
It was 68 at last record, and that was 5 years ago.
So that's because, as Bill said, English people dump their relatives, their retired relatives over on the island. People want to retire to Guernsey because it's beautiful, and it is. So those people do receive the NHS care, right? Well, what's the NHS care and welfare in Guernsey? It's you're going to get abused by some woman from Barbados. That's what it is. She's going to abuse the shit out of you, and you are very, very lucky if you get a Scottish or Irish woman who can take care of you. And I'm not saying that in some racial way. I'm saying that the women who are from Barbados and Trinidad don't give a shit. Why would they give a shit about how they abuse some 80-year-old woman in Guernsey? They're just gonna leave. They don't give a shit. And they're out. The same thing is the problem with democracy. They can get in and get out scot-free with the horrible things they've done to the people that they have abused from their position of power. It has nothing to do with race. It's nothing to do with ethnicity. It has to do with knowing that you can get the fuck away while getting away with causing horrible human suffering. I watched it happen around me every single day for 3 months. So excuse me if I'm not very positive towards socialized welfare of the NHS, or that I'm not very positive towards this kind of idea of, we'll just let people in, or they'll do good things if they're not held to any personal responsibility or recompense.
Welcome to the Canadian medical system. Would you like to die?
Well, if you'd like to die, enjoy a socialized welfare system or socialized.
You know what? I would be more down with the Canadian medical system if they just were upright and just went, okay, here's a game of Russian roulette. There's a 1 in 6 chance you'll die. Either 5 times in 6 will pay for your treatment.
And I just want to say, just because I feel like it's going to be treated as what I just said as racialized. It's not. It's the women who were from Trinidad and Barbados and stuff. It's not because they're black that they were terrible. It has nothing to do with those nurses. They just knew they didn't have to give a fuck. They knew that they could just go back to where they were from and go bye-bye and not give a shit about how much they had abused the elderly in Guernsey.
Aiden.
Yeah?
I need to sleep now.
All right, you're really tired?
I cannot stay up right now if you fucking pay me.
All right, so all right, so it's been 2 days, but we're clearly not getting through this. I think, are we going to end it here? Are we done with this debate?
Probably, because I've been up since 5.
Okay.
Same.
Why do you do this, you ding dong? Why do you get up at 5 and then?
Because stupid Americans made me look at a math thing and piss me the fuck off.
I didn't do that.
I
didn't
work
do
in
that.
wholesale. I've been working in wholesale
okay.
foods for 7 years.
All right,
I want to die.
Okay. So we're there's only like 20 minutes left. Oh, there's 40 minutes left. But look, I think
we can do a third stream. It's okay. We'll bring in Donkey for the third.
I mean, I guess if you want to, but it's up to you. I'll be on Tim Pool's podcast tomorrow. By the way, watch Tim Pool, Timcast Live tomorrow. I will be on.
Yeah. I'm like busy the whole weekend, so have fun with that.
But clearly, we're not getting through this. We had too much shit to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have started with that Adam and Sid shit and all this stuff, and we wouldn't have been able to get through it.
We shouldn't have.
I did it. Whatever. I don't call Spoon a ding dong ardent party, but he is a ding dong. If we have to get through a third stream, we will. We'll decide what we want to do, guys. I mean, it's been going on for too long. Thank you guys so much for watching again.
I'm okay. I'm dealing with a Yank who's autistic, so I'm okay. I have to have a lot of
I'm
patience.
dealing with her. How do you think I feel?
An Irishman who's autistic, so whatever.
Did you just call me an Irishman?
You live in Ireland. You lived in Ireland since you were 11.
If you want to catch me awake, I'm not sleepy enough to not kill you.
What? But you've lived in Ireland.
Get a couple of drinks in this man. We'll hear how Irish he is.
I'm not loaded. Not yet.
Give me some whiskey.
I wasn't talking about you, you drunken fuck.
No, it's because my allergies are really bad right now. We're all struggling, I think, right?
Does your allergies affect your hearing?
This is the end. This is the end of this podcast.
It does actually.
Have a punch up in a fucking back alley.
Like, why are you so embarrassed by being Irish?
Because I'm not.
But you lived in Ireland since you're 11.
I don't give a flying
We're all
fuck.
We're all going to go down a Cork, and we're going to have a big punch up. It's going to be great. Everyone donate money so we can all go to Cork and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, we'll punch each other in the face. There we go.
I want to punch any of you people in the face.
No, I know. No, we'll all go down to Cork and.
It wouldn't work on me. It's like punching a brick wall.
I'd love to go to Cork. Well, not really to Cork in general, but I would.
You know, like 3 people from fucking Cork, and
I know so many people from Ireland.
Yeah, but we need like 3 people from Cork. One's Duck, and I haven't even heard from him in donkeys yet.
I haven't heard from Duck in a minute.
You go to fucking Cork and get corked.
Doesn't Dom live near Cork?
Bill, I suppose that's a question for you.
Doesn't Dom live near Cork?
No. Duck and I want to say Flompo lives near Cork. I could be wrong. I can't remember for the life of me where the fuck Dom lives.
Well, it doesn't
Somewhere
matter.
in the west.
Clearly, we're not finishing this video.
This is the west.
My allergies have driven me insane to the point where I can barely breathe. So I'm not going to be much help. This was really fun. I love allergies and how they just pop up on you and go, hey, you know how you like breathing and breathing?
Not today, bitch.
What?
Not today.
You rude. Oh, well,
you called me Irish. What the hell did you expect from me then?
You are Irish.
Kneecaps are a privilege.
You're at least culturally Irish, Spoon.
How dare you? That is
You can call me
offensive.
culturally Marylander if you wish. It would be equally offensive to me.
Culturally Yankee.
I'm not culturally Irish. I can spell and speak proper English.
I just hit Aiden with the fucking.
How dare you?
I just hit Aiden with like the Jared Taylor Spirit one.
I have to.
I'm in the background.
I'm dying. Oh, what a world! What a world! Oh, what a world!
Got nose for it.
Melting.
That sounds like every.
If we have a remake of The Wizard of Oz, can we have Abigail Shapiro as the Wicked Witch of the West?
And what melts her then?
I'm sure that the internet will provide.
Well, I would certainly like to see the pornographic version
white
of this.
fluid, I imagine. Copious amounts of it.
What we're going to hear in this is, oh!
Did we get through all of Keza's super chats? Because he had so many. I think we did. How about that fun car stream next Friday? Yeah, I don't know if you want to
another
ever
stream.
Mhm.
This is like a third one.
Spoon, we do a stream every week. That's
But
what we do
3 of
every week,
them?
Spoon. We do a stream. Next Friday.
Son of Tiamat.
not
Fuck
tomorrow.
you, Baltimore.
Fuck you, Baltimore. Welcome to Big Bill Hell's
Hell's.
Cars.
That joke was not lost on me when I went to Baltimore for the first time.
No, it's the first thing I did when I got here and saw my mom is I played her Big Bill Hell's Cars. So she's seen it. Goddamn. My accent is much closer to our average here in the U.S. than anything in the UK. Yeah, what you don't know, well, no, maybe you did know this, is that when I was a very young child, I grew up in West Virginia. I was born in Virginia, then moved to West Virginia from the time that I was cogent and cognizant. And so I grew up with a
work in the
slight...
steel factories.
Yeah, I worked in the steel factories and the mines, obviously, as you do when you grow up as a child in West Virginia. And then I had a very slight West Virginia accent, and we moved to
Fuck
Baltimore.
child labor laws.
Did you hear it come through a tinge heavier in that one sentence?
Excuse me. Wait, what are you talking about? Actually, if you would like me to... Now, if you want me to go into my natural West Virginia accent, I can go down in there. What would you like me to say? You want to talk about what?
You lost your virginity to a family member.
Why does that river flow north?
Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I'm only willing to go
Why
down
does that river flow north?
Why does the Mon River flow north? Oh, it's because Penn sucks. Pitt sucks. Excuse me. Wow, it's been a minute. The Mon River flows north because Pitt sucks. I can't even do it right anymore. But like, there's a whole mess of things I can't do no more. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm only willing to speak with my natural West Virginia accent if Spoon is willing to speak with his natural Irish accent, which he's not willing to do, and therefore I'm not sure if I should
How many drinks have you had tonight?
I'm not sure if I should be giving you this preview of how I used to sound when I was a child. I sure don't sound this way anymore because I got made fun of and called ignorant.
He's a fucking fisherman, eh?
He thinks he's a fisherman, eh? Doesn't he? He sure does. Now, Spoon,
I've
heard you.
You cheeky little shite. Wouldn't bait
There it
shite
is.
out of you.
You got the fucking head, but he hasn't got a boat yet. Eh?
It fucking sound like a pikey from Snatch.
I once got it described to me by I would argue possibly a high level racist than I am, that Guernsey folk look like white Aborigines.
Well, you sound. Is that? Are you on my Bulmer accent test, Mary? Well, here's the thing: the Bulmer accent test is I don't know what you want to do. You want to go down the Well, we're going to go down the ocean. I'm probably going to go down the ocean. No, I don't have any time to go down the ocean. I don't have any time to do that.
Well, to be honest with you, lads, I haven't spoken clue.
I'm quitting, oy
Heavy Shapiro as the Wicked Witch. I'm kvetching, oy vey. Thank you so much. We have a whole collection here of people with some of the worst accents potentially on Earth.
The worst
Spoon,
accents in the fucking art.
Spoon, I have heard you when you've gotten drunk fall into your native Irish accent without your own fucking permission.
I do not have a native Irish accent.
I have certainly heard it.
Fuck.
I have certainly heard it. I have heard it 100%. And you know I heard it. You know I've heard it.
I love the longest time people thought I was South African.
Yeah, people thought that Bill was South African because the Guernsey accent.
Or that I was the internet historian.
Oh well, we've had a good time here tonight. Everyone's accents are
It's been a fucking mess.
It was a big mess. We didn't even finish. We got through about 20 minutes.
We barely dented this video. This is like a fucking tumble dryer falling down a flight of stairs.
Bruh. Well, I'll have to tell y'all. Well, thank y'all for coming and very much appreciate it.
This is fucking messy.
Well, it has been one big mess. We did make a big mess up here. There's a whole mess of comments.
I blame this one.
We all making a big mess of comments.
It's your fault. Blame the women.
Excuse me?
Blame the women.
It's a good rule for me.
Why would you blame me? I ain't done nothing.
Because you're the one that fucking told us to watch a clip at the start and waste like a fucking 90 minutes to be with ours.
Well,
it's a bloody minute.
I sure tried to. Y'all want to do your own thing. So, I mean, like, you all made a big mess of it.
We do sound much more sophisticated when we speak normally, don't we?
We sure do, don't we? Well, with that all in mind, we will, whenever we come back,
we all sound quite offensive to natives, by the way.
everyone has, I'm sure, in their minds, not me, of course, but I'm sure Bill and Spoon have said the N-word just about every 30 seconds.
What the fuck?
Not normally,
much?
no. But on my way home from work, I just scream it every second of every day. Just in the car, just. I'm not even joking. That's what I'm doing. I'm in my car. Time to scream the N-word at the top of my lungs.
Nerd. Obviously. Anywho.
So I can totally picture that now.
I'm not exaggerating this for
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been a total mess of a stream. It's been a real mess. You gotta read that mess up. You should read the mess up. We've already read it something.
God.
But all right. Let's we'll go again whenever we go. I don't know if we're gonna finish this. It is what it is.
Fuck knows.
However, thank you all for watching, and thank you all so much for the donations. Now I'm stuck in the West Virginia thing, but thank y'all so much for the donations, and thank y'all so much for showing up. And I hope you do appreciate this. I appreciate y'all showing up and watching the Broken Crown stream here with myself, being my West Virginian accented self, and here with my Guernsey accented husband here, Bill.
You sound like he is right now.
Well, here he's put in his French shit, whatever he said, and then my Irish South African friend, whatever kind of accent he's pretending to have today. What you got?
Pretending to have?
Yeah, go ahead. Stop pretending to sound so goddamn highfalutin.
What do you mean? This is what I normally sound like.
Nah, he's pretend. I've heard him when he's drunk. When he's 3 sheets to the wind, he's pretending he ain't sound like that normally.
Gosh. Right now, she sounds like a broken hillbilly.
Yeehaw, let's go.
It's Rich coming from fucking Jadetville over here.
Excuse me, but I sound snooty, and I'm okay with
I
that.
am getting a little close to Yes. Yeah. Yes and I are from about 100 miles difference from each other in the big scheme of things. Yes and I are from the same people. We're from the same stock, right?
Meanwhile, Matt here slitting the English throats and fucking Spoons out here fighting the Katanga tribe.
It's not. Yeah, I fell in my West Virginia accent. I really did. I fell way into like Kentuckian, but I fell way into Kentucky from West Virginia. Yeah, no, West Virginia is a little bit more south.
My biggest enemy are the people who are in Wakanda because they stole all that shit.
If you're from West Virginia, you go down the creek, you go down the holler, and cheerio.